Hello and welcome to tonight's episode of Loot Die Repeat, where a bunch of us schmucks sit around.
Dead schmucks.
And, yeah, we are dead schmucks. Die. And we do a lot of laughing at each other. That we like to call Dungeons and Dragons. And apparently I'm just a disembodied voice that is speaking right now.
What the hell is that?
I don't know what's going on.
Come on, guys.
We kind of lost our edge.
Everything's gone to crap. Characters die, stream crashes, you know.
Twitch goes down.
We just got this. We're doing great here. We know what we're doing. I'm gonna keep talking. We appreciate you guys being here, and starting in this this new campaign 3 that we're gonna be launching, which is going to have a lot of input from you, the viewers, the chatters, our amazing community who appreciates us so much and who we appreciate so much. Now we're going to kind of tell a story together. So we're still trying to get me on screen. I don't know if I'm back yet, but tonight we're going to do a little bit of a post-mortem as we invite you, the chat, to kind of ask questions of our cast, as well as just talk through some of this last campaign and then begin to look ahead to the new campaign. And we're grieving and mourning the loss of our characters, but we will be excitedly looking forward to some new ones. And that's going to be a fun process. So we're going to be suspending the giveaways for a little bit, just so we can kind of recalibrate things. And we are going to really kind of build this next campaign with you guys from the ground up. And the thing that we're going to start with first is trying to get our cameras working again.
You know, I kind of like that you're disembodied, because I feel like it's a metaphorical pin in us dying last week.
Yeah. I think you deserve it.
Yeah, I think you deserve to be metaphorically dead right now.
Well, if all the other cameras work, you can throw those on so they can at least see the cast instead of the screen with the floating blackness. So I can...
Maybe there was never a DM all along.
It was just
It's just been Jake whispering out of the corner of his mouth.
That's right. So...
Move it to the forefront.
I will do a little bit of a recap, and it's pretty short. Here's how it goes.
We all died.
Badger.
JB almost died, and then JB died.
Yeah, he did.
So, Mariska, the...
Badger's rating, like 1.
the sorceress supreme of our little universe was corrupted, and she brought the pain to her former companions when Bart tried to intervene to assist the corrupting mythos magic that was coursing through her, interacted with the mythos void magic within Soul Quencher, the onyx blade that Bart wielded. And he rolled 3 natural ones in a row.
Everyone rolled many natural ones.
They don't give those away easy. You got to work for them.
Yeah.
And he was charmed by the magic within her. And while the party was able to put Mariska down, the mythos magic continued to surge through Bart, and Bart ended the life of JB.
Damn straight.
First to die in the party. After JB died,
On brand.
it was then a
Ollie wouldn't have failed.
cacophony of failure as
That was just mean.
Morthos
What?
died,
That's just mean.
followed by Bart himself.
Series of unfortunate events.
Followed by Killian and Mariska, as Ray, in a tear-filled plea from her eldest ancestor, Moshi, told her to break her ancestral hammer over her knee, setting off a planar explosion that sucked Ray into a plane and let out a forceful blast that essentially disintegrated the dead bodies of her comrades. The two to resist the blast were Killian in his lion form and Mariska in her corrupted form. And someone want to go and make sure that he's got that off upstairs?
He definitely doesn't.
Yeah.
Good time for the robot. You'll look really good with it.
And then Mariska, having been consumed by the mythos magic within her,
Yeah.
her draconic heritage being fully corrupted.
What? No. 98%.
98%.
No, I didn't.
Thanks for the subs, Badger.
Thank you for the subs,
Oh,
Badger. We
cool.
appreciate
Still
that.
doesn't make up for what you did.
Still pissed.
Had her shadow draconic wings extend from her form as her body was whisked away by the force of the explosion, disappearing into the nothingness of the mythos magic that flows through her, taking her whatever humanity remained within her to the unknown.
Yeah, because I rolled a crit fail for my humanity.
Yes, you did.
You're number one.
Killian watched the bodies of his friends disappear in the blast from the broken hammer. Ray disappearing first and not seeing the fate of any of her friends, followed by those mentioned one by one, and then ultimately Killian. As darkness overtook you, you heard a voice that mourned alongside you, saying the strength of his magic flowing through her was too strong, and to let go and to come home.
And I rolled a 9.
And Killian did let go,
Oh, that hurts.
and he returned. Epilogue. Killian.
Oh, snap.
You were not expecting this.
What?
Killian.
Lean back. Get in your position.
Getting character.
Your eyes open. And you are in a massive space with white all around you.
And Dumbledore's there?
Nah, actually, it's Gandalf. But,
Oh, okay.
Gandorf.
I like him better.
what do you do?
It's just like blinding light, or it's just white?
It's just a radiant, blinding white light
Run
all
away
around
from
you.
Am I laying down?
Don't go to the
You're
left.
standing in a space that has no ceiling and no floor. It's disorienting, actually, the more you think about it. But you find yourself there.
I don't see any. Like I look around, nothing. It's just like I'm in the
Blinding white
Matrix,
light,
and I'm
yep.
about to get a lot of weapons. No, I wouldn't scream. I would. As it disorients, I would actually drop to my knees, and I would start to weep again, and then, Lion, are you here?
You hear a voice that answers you. It's the voice of a female. She says, "What would you do to save your friends?"
I would do a lot. I would give up. I would give up myself.
Are you sure?
I would do anything for love. But I won't do that.
I would do anything for love.
The voice pauses for a moment and then continues. So you would die for them?
Absolutely.
But would you endure true death?
Is there any sense
Wait
of
a
where?
second.
Is there any sense of where the voice is coming from, or is it just all around? Would I know what she was talking about with true death?
No.
Then I would say, I would like to say yes, but I'm not sure what you're implying. A death is death. That's I thought I was dead already. Does not sound like a good laugh.
You don't have to roll for insight in the aftermath?
That was my question.
And that's where the scene ends. Marishka.
Oh no!
She wakes up.
Haven't I done
And she
enough?
sees Killian in the bright light.
Yeah, it's Mariska on the other side of the line.
As
Oh boy.
the lens of the illumination of Cthulhu has affixed itself to your face, and the arcane voice within the lens has been silenced by the very ancient magic coursing through your body. You find yourself walking on a beach. You have no control over anything.
Fair.
The pall of death hangs heavy upon your soul. Your humanity, who you were, has been completely consumed. And yet, there is a strange, disembodied sense that you have as you almost watch yourself walk upon the sandy shore. It is midnight, and there are a million stars in the sky as the water slowly laps against the shore. If you hadn't just massacred your friends, it might be a soothing...
Can I send them a postcard from the afterlife?
You have no ability to express yourself.
Oh, this is hell.
It's essentially being John Malkovich.
Oh.
You are trapped within a husk of yourself, watching a malevolent creature control you. And then you hear a voice from within yourself in your own mind.
This is triple deception.
Yeah, I know. What level are we on?
Am I inside her brain?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving yourself to me. You have no ability to respond.
What about enthusiastic hand gestures?
Now I must go find my badger.
Oh my,
no.
that's so thematic.
But first, you can watch as we speak with Master. Your body stops
Oh gosh.
and turns to the water as it begins to roil and bubble. And from just beyond the shoreline, a dark figure begins to emerge from within. No hair on its head. Green, scaly skin. Piercing, deep yellow eyes that emerge unblinking from the water. Tentacles down from its mouth. And in a low, deep, gravelly voice, it says to you, "Well done, L'Oreal. You are free. You have taken the lens. And now, you will release me." Scene ends.
Can I cast F that SM out? Ninth level. Holy cow! What? Badger, you released Cthulhu!
Oh.
I never agreed to anything! Don't you sip your drink, I got you.
So, there's our little epilogue. And now,
Oh, boy.
chat,
Oh boy!
we want to engage
We can fight
in
Cthulhu.
some character building, world building with you over the next couple of weeks. And so here's what we're inviting you in to do. And we would really love for you to participate in this with us. First, we are going to work on building out characters.
I like it.
You're the worst.
I presume type something funny
The
in
bad
chat.
guy's name is Daddy. Officially now.
Badger
Badger
said
says,
I
"I
released
released Daddy."
Daddy.
Daddy.
You know what? Ha! Ha! You water eldritch being, you just picked a fire sorcerer for your avatar.
Also,
Sucks to suck!
Farce has left the building. He's never to return. He's afraid of what's leaked from his Eberron.
Me too.
Yeah, me three.
I think when we're level 3 we could fight Cthulhu. I think we could do that.
All right, where do we begin, Chew?
So, here's what we want to do. This kind of session, we want to sketch some of what we're thinking. So, each of our cast are going to share some high-level generalized ideas, including Molly with Ray, as Ray kind of now has to deal with having found a family and then lost it in a rather traumatic way. And some of the ideas that she has with what that could mean. The chair just break?
Eberron is ruining everything.
Okay.
It's madness, I tell you.
Yes. So we're going to have them share some of their ideas. We also want you guys to ask questions of the cast to talk through their thoughts on the last campaign, Campaign 2. We would love to do a little post-mortem tonight in terms of well,
Literally postmortem.
what they feel about how it ended, what were some of the highlights from the campaign for them, and then of course your questions about specific scenes or ideas that they had and things like that. And then we're going to start talking about kind of the character creation stuff. And one of the things I do want to determine tonight is how you guys want to do the stat rolls. So we want to roll the stats, and we want to roll them live on air so you guys can see them. And we want to give you, the community, the opportunity to actually affect those stat rolls. And I don't know the best way to do that. We want to do it in a way that is going to not make it simple for the cast to get crazy bonkers OP stats, but we also want to make it possible for that.
We wouldn't say no.
We wouldn't say no.
I mean, we've got Cthulhu in our future, man.
Well,
could we please have some assistance?
Someone does.
And
Oh, no.
I noticed you said that.
Oh boy.
and so they so we are going to allow you guys, the community, to buy rerolls. But before we define what that is and looks like, we want to determine how you want those rolls to happen. And then you'll be able to pool resources to buy those rerolls for stats. And we'll probably do 2 characters, ideally 2 characters a week. We won't do everyone all at once. And so we want to know which characters you guys want to go first, and we'll kind of work through that as we hear some of the character sketches of what people are thinking, and we'll take a devoted amount of time for that character to really dive in. And the reason why we're going to do it that way is because we're trying to upgrade before the start of the next campaign. We're trying to upgrade a couple of things with our production here. In particular, only 2 of us have these fancy kind of, what are these things called? These
Headsets?
over-the-ear mics.
Over-the-ear mic.
Yeah, right.
Motivational speaker mic.
Motivational speaker mics. We'd like to get them for the entire cast so that our sound for everyone can be consistent. And so all of the bits that come in over this world building, character building arc here are going to go towards purchasing some new mics. Those are $350 a mic. And we also would like to upgrade some of our lighting so that we can get consistent lighting all through here on the cast. If we can do other upgrades, we're going to try to do that as well. But that's how we are going to utilize any of the bits and money that come in. It's going to go right into the production so that we can make an even more enjoyable experience for you guys as we build this next campaign together. So that's how we're going to go about that. And we are also going to give you, the viewers, the opportunity to speak into kind of the new campaign itself. And we're not going to do that tonight, but I do want to invite you in to speaking to what you think would be a fun type of campaign arc. And typically I like to write campaigns that have like 3 story arcs to them, or 3 acts, if you will. And so I want to invite you guys into that, the writing of that at a high level, and because I want to tell a story that, and in a setting in particular, that you guys would enjoy watching and seeing. So that's a little bit of how we're going to go about the next couple of weeks. I have no defined time frame for this. We don't want to rush anything, but we also don't want to just dilly-dally. So we're going to try to get characters created, and we're going to get the acts built out, and then we'll engage, even as we hope that some of you can create some character art for the new characters. we know we have one character in Ray who is going to continue. And so any of you community artists out there who want to start with a concept of Ray, in her kind of now a year after we first met her, kind of how she has grown and evolved, her hammer having been shattered, so it's essentially a one-handed warhammer with a spear that she wields in the hand that she has her kind of buckler shield. And so if you want to do your rendition of that art, we would love for you to start with Ray, and then we're going to, as we figure out the new characters together, begin to have other opportunities for you artists out there to engage. So those are all some of the things that we would like to do, and we would love to invite you into that. So we're going to begin by asking the cast the question, what was your favorite memory from the past campaign? We had 59 episodes, almost 60, almost hit that nice round number, but 59 episodes over a year of episodes where that involved campaign 2. And Morthos was around for 129 episodes.
Is that it?
That's all.
So Adam, you played Morthos for 3 years.
Yeah, don't remind me.
And
3 years.
we did have a COVID interruption in there, which is why there weren't more episodes over 3 years. But Adam, I would invite you to speak not just to your favorite memory of campaign 2, but of all of Morthos' character arc. You might have a couple. And while we're talking through these questions and asking these questions, I would invite you guys in the community to type some questions into the chat and let us know what things you would be interested in knowing about in terms of this kind of post-mortem review of the past campaign. And we'll spend some time doing this, and then we'll invite each of the cast to share some of their high-level character concepts that they've been thinking about. Some for only the past week, and some have character concepts that they've been noodling on for a while. And going to invite you guys into that. So let's start with just as the people are typing into the chat, the opportunity, ask your questions, and we'll follow those. But I would love to hear from each of you guys your favorite memory from this past campaign, or Adam for Morthos' entire adventuring career until he was so unceremoniously smote by Mariska. So whoever would like to go first, feel free.
June's death.
All right, we want to start there. Okay.
Elaborate for this.
No, that was Carissa's first character, and then her second character killed us all, and I'm still salty about it. So.
At least I'm consistent. First one died in fire, second one killed with fire. So, it all came full freaking circle, didn't it?
Necrotic fire, yes. Yeah.
I mean, I can talk about that if you want.
Go for it.
All right, so I didn't play D&D, before the stream here. I had one game I played with you, and I played a sorcerer in that one, and I'm pretty sure I did it all wrong, and you were gracious enough to, fix it as I was doing it. But when the idea came for me to join my brother in playing with everybody...
Who was your brother?
Oh, Rubius. Thornbray. But... that was going to be on camera. It was all this other pressure I didn't really think about. So I thought, I'll probably want to roleplay a character that I can just make it baked into their character, that they are they're not going to be trying to be the face of the party. They're not going to be trying to speak and persuade and intimidate. So that's where I came up with June. But the difficulty with her was she didn't start with the party. And so there was this, and I didn't have quite all the background on what the party had done to that point. So the difficulty I had from the start was weaving her into it in a way that was meaningful, and everybody in the cast was really good at changing or chipping away pieces of their own backstories so that it would feel more cohesive and tied together. But I also loved JB's character so much that I remember when June died. I remember I was being really stupid and reckless because I was afraid that JB was going to die. Little did I know that would be a recurring theme in every episode. So, rip June, your sacrifice meant nothing. But when she died, that was like my jumping off point to start, I want to roleplay. I love role-playing. That's the most fun part for me. So I wanted to lean into that. So when I switched from June, who just was basically like a Chinese fortune cookie wrapped up in a monk, to Mariska, that was me going full out with, I wanted her to be flirtatious. I wanted her to be devil may care, break the rules, doesn't matter, and just really force myself to get out of that comfort zone. So that was kind of the transition there. Oh yeah. What's my question? Important question. Did Mariska
care?
Did Mariska and Morthos have feelings for each other? Okay. I can speak from Mariska's point of view.
Morthos definitely had a crush. Mariska was just playing with him.
So the way that I thought about it when that started sprinkling in was, this party was the first dedicated party of do-gooders. And so she had dated somebody before, and we might have seen him actually if we hadn't all died.
You would have.
Yeah. And he was, he was charming, he was handsome, he was
3 feet tall.
Well, I had to lord something over him.
I thought so.
But he didn't care about moral conflict. So in a way, when you were surrounded, in both real life and in D&D, when you're surrounded with those kind of people, you're never very challenged to grow. And so this party being that first kind of party where she met that, and Morthos also being the most physically attractive of the male characters just by design alone.
It's not saying very much.
I know, right?
What is a cat, to be fair?
My pickings were slim.
So I shit in a box and
yeah, so I lowered my standards. Ladies out there, you know what I'm talking about. But I thought, Morthos did a really good job of playing a character that was walking the line between having all of this regret, all of this fear, all of this anger, but still wanting to do something good in the world despite it. And I think for Mariska, that was what she first noticed about you, and how you were so protective of everyone. Whereas she would have been ready to just cut and dry her whole life. So that kind of a relationship was very new to her.
Yeah.
So that kind of started forming as a crush thing. And then also when we started it with them being on a date, I was like, this is perfect. This is great. You're gonna love me and I'm not gonna give you any choice. But the way it ended up going was we all died and I killed him and he didn't get to say anything.
Well,
My heart betrayed me.
True love.
How about Morthos? What was his?
I think Morthos took it as more of it was the distraction of all of the chaotic craziness that was going on in the group, that that having someone to flirt with was more of just a way to forget that they were in the middle of life and death at all times.
Was there what were Morthos' feelings towards Sola?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's forever. I mean,
so was the fact that Sola was
you have to look at right.
What was that dynamic for Morthos?
You have to look at it as it's not that she was just bound, but Sola was bound, but also she literally saved him more than once. She saved him in life, and then saved him in when she lived within his own soul. And if it wasn't for that connection with Sola, Morthos would have probably continued to go after some pretty gnarly items until they would have just completely consumed him.
Yeah.
So
Morthos would have been the Mariska of the campaign.
Yeah.
Ha.
So for no doubt, I think that's Morthos's regret with one, not being there last week, but two, is even dying is not so much that he died, but that he was wasn't even here.
So Adam hasn't missed in 3 years.
I've missed fewer episodes than anyone else here, and I missed that one.
So tell me how you feel about that. Where the campaign ends, your character who you played for 3 years dead.
Oh.
How do you feel? Because I was texting you through it.
Yeah. I was fucking pissed.
There it is, folks. Oh.
Does that count as our F-bomb for season 3?
No, that's still season 2.
Okay, good.
This is the post-mortem, so
All right,
we've
good,
got
good,
2
good.
to give.
Good,
to give?
good.
Oh,
2 to
No,
give.
I mean, I was like, I didn't. I honestly didn't care that Morthos died. I mean, it was more of the fact that I wasn't there when it happened, and I didn't get to go out on his terms. Like I kind of was a little upset that, you know, Morthos had a 3-year journey from turning to this guy who was running because he was being accused of murder, to being a thief, to stealing whatever he could, to actually finding a party that he cared about, and then going through the whole sorrow of despair and regret because he felt like he couldn't save them and that he lost them, finding the new family, and then it was all for naught, you know.
Morthos has died in 2 really crappy ways.
Yeah, well, I was just saying, when you asked me what's my favorite, or it's like what's the thing that sticks in my mind, I'd say it's most likely my first death. I mean, freaking Vinny stepping on my nuts and killing me. I mean, let's be honest.
Trying to jump over you.
Trying to jump over me. Oh, he's in the ring. He'll live. You know.
Ring of healing.
He did give you a death fill.
He did.
That was the
No,
third
Two.
yeah.
one.
That was 2. He gave me 2 because
it
of
was a melee attack.
Because it was a melee attack.
And you died.
And I died.
Well,
Sola
And
had
then-
to race him by herself.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
passed
On
all of those
horseback.
saves to get back to
True.
Waterdeep.
Yeah.
And
was
then you
crazy.
resurrected him by yourself.
Yeah.
With
Right.
the ring
The
of
ring.
friendship.
The ring of friendship. That's right.
I think one of my favorite things was how we all completely forgot we had 2 10-year-olds in campaign 1.
Yes.
Working
Kyle and
hard.
Candy. They're still.
Completely forgot.
They were orphans.
Yep.
Hopefully, Jax is looking over them.
Hopefully she is.
Although now she's somehow connected with all the pain curse, so.
Yeah.
She's a
See.
groupie.
How about you, Austin? Favorite memory from the campaign?
When you came up with your yelling voice.
That yeah. No, I think I play a lot like Killian was his character. So for me, it's a lot of the things that when we did things well. Like, so one of the first things I thought was when JB and Killian used spells together to kill something in the cemetery. You used what's the catapult, right? Remember that? Like, that was one of the
Your magic stones.
yeah, with the magic stones.
Oh, that was cool.
When after 6 weeks of planning, the kidnapping actually went well.
There were so many things that could and should have gone wrong. Like, we had so many variables that we
Right.
depended on going right for that crazy 6-week plan to
Oh
work.
my goodness.
Yeah.
It's insane.
When you
Like,
when
there
you
was-
guys the were-rat.
Yes.
We stole Zemni.
Yeah.
Because there was one moment where
then
I think
converted
Morthos was trying to pickpocket someone when we were in the bar role-playing that, and you didn't pass the check, so the guy was starting to look at you, and then I just blurted something out like I was screaming, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, if this is, like, the first domino in the chain, and if that goes wrong, like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah. So for me, it was like those moments of, wow,
Bad hair
we could
day.
actually do this, because our normal, like, our normalcy is to fail. Like, that's really just what
What
it
do
is to
you
be.
mean?
You know what? We
We
suck.
only
we
raised
still did it.
Cthulhu in the end.
But we, like, at least,
I mean,
so, like,
ultimately, we
after,
epically failed.
yeah, well, one person
We
did,
eldritchly
and then
failed.
they were helped by somebody who will remain nameless, but is dead to me, Badger.
Greatest disappointment.
So
of
when
my life.
plans
So-
worked out,
Yeah, or
That was-
or when we learned from him. So when June died, like that was a big turning point for us as not only as characters but as players. I think was we've got to get our stuff together if we're gonna actually keep people alive and accomplish our goals. So
yeah.
I think that this was so in the second campaign I joined like a third of the way through, maybe a little bit before or after that. And I played a goofy character and that was fun, but like we
Now
still
it's kind
had
of like campaign 1.5.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Yanni.
Yanni.
And I think like we were still learning what it was like to play together. And I think this campaign, we learned that quickly. And it was a lot of fun after that to see what we could do and what we could fail at constantly. So,
Saloto Art asks, does Ray still have the table that she looted?
It's on the ship.
It is on the ship with
My
Captain
smash,
Casper.
Yeah.
So-
and also my smash
Casper really moved up in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, Casper just
I mean,
inherited
he's
a
like
lot.
he's got a fleet of ships now.
Yeah, he does.
Wait, didn't we
Coffee
put
business.
Coffee business going.
didn't we put gold in a chest on the ship too?
That we did.
Did we set him up?
Oh yeah.
Maybe Casper's
He better come back.
all along.
He will come back.
Which one of the deckhands was a plant by one of the villains? Because I had this terrible sneaking feeling that Reaper was supposed to be a plant from the lady, and then he died, so...
I think
That
Reaper
kinda
was
went
too
over.
obvious.
You think so? Was a red herring?
Reaper was totally the red herring. That's why I named him Reaper.
That's what
It's
I figured.
definitely Casper.
Yes.
I just thought it was
It wasn't Casper.
You were gonna make me kill Casper.
The orc
I know
lady?
it.
singing. Yeah.
Was she a half-orc or an
It was
orc?
the actual.
Half-orc?
It was actually the robot cleaner that is currently cleaning.
Yeah.
the
Oh
boat.
no!
That's
Jingles?
The, that's
Jingles?
the plant.
Jingles!
Jingles.
That's the plant.
Jingles, the gelatinous
See that item we
cleaning cube?
we gave up. We gave up because you killed. We gave up that item because you killed us.
No. You gave up that item because Badger through me killed you all. And then I rolled a crit 1 for humanity for myself. So, you know, I lost just as much as you guys.
Yeah. So
Steve, favorite memory from the campaign?
Go.
let me start with this. When this gentleman over here says that he came to a realization after June died that we really need to get our stuff together, I didn't come to any such realization that we needed to survive in any way. I mean, I don't like having crappy plans and going into dungeons or buildings and just
Hail
acting
Mary.
randomly and doing stupid stuff. I want to do good stuff, but I don't care if most of the time if any of us dies because it just drives the story in a different direction. I don't mind that. And so regardless of that, I did like JB. And some of his moments in this season that really I recall are when he died, one of those times that he died. He actually only died one time.
One time.
Died.
And his wife appeared.
Yeah.
That was unexpected. So Dolly
That was
Dolly
cool.
That
appeared.
was cute.
Oh,
that was
that's
great.
cute.
And it might have been the only thing that Matt could have convinced me to come back to life for, actually, which could be because I like to role play the character, and so if I think my character would want to do something or would be swayed in a certain way, and Matt does it or somebody does it, then I'm going to go that direction. I'm not going to force it anything beyond what the character would want most of the time. I'm not completely separate from the character. So that was cool, but then clearly she sent me on a mission to go meet my daughter, and the other memorable moment happened shortly after when we actually met. Well, we think we met his daughter, calling Phineas his mortal enemy, Daddy,
Papa.
Papa.
or whatever.
Papa.
And so that was pretty cool. But then.
When you sent the message to Phineas, that was one of my favorite moments of JB that you played the entire campaign.
Oh, yeah, that
because
was,
it was so
that was the F
Right at the end
because
of the
you're
episode,
so
yeah.
calm
Yeah.
and like very straightforward, and for
And
like
you-
JB to let that anger out, and your voice acting was awesome and on target. I got chills when he did that.
What? So I don't know if anyone else noticed throughout JB's camp adventuring life, he sort of
got more emotional.
Yeah, there were more emotions involved in his decisions,
Yep.
and he never would have tried to float through like a glowing god into the middle of these flying monsters
And some
attacking
say he
everyone.
shouldn't have.
eight levels ago, he never would have done that because he
Yeah.
was just a guy in a tower, like being
Oh, yeah, there's-
racketed by the Zentarum, and so. Over time, I tried. I think it was actually organic. Like I didn't purposely do it. It was just all the things piling on.
Yeah.
Just brought that out of a race that in lore would normally not have
The dynamic
expressed things that way.
The dynamic between you and Ray was also so funny. There was one moment where it was our precious downtime because we had so little downtime in this campaign, where you were trying to like unlock something or like level an item up, and you rolled poorly. So the way that they roleplayed it was that you were like singing or talking to him the whole
I
time.
was in the part we were trying to
And JB was like
diving or something like that, and we were singing, "What would you do with a drunken
Yeah.
sailor?"
and JB was like, Ray, I do say, Ray, could. And then it's like, then you played it like that happened for hours.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
But I think I actually think the moment that for JB's career that also when you revealed that Wolfram was a simulacrum, that was pretty dope. But
because you didn't seem too happy.
That goes back to the.
I still haven't figured out how I was playing Wolfram as a simulacrum. Anyway, but my favorite moment I think of this whole thing was the moment when Jake playing Ollie actually became Bart for a moment. Like the first time that happened, that was like very skillfully done, and I didn't expect it.
Yeah, it was very
and so that was pretty awesome.
None of us expected it. I don't think we knew you were going to do a voice change.
Yeah, that was something that Jake and I had talked through, because the concept for Bart was always there.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead, Jake? And
yeah, so I remember going on a walk with you like 7 months ago, where I was talking through this character I wanted to play, who had 2 personalities and a personality within himself, and then we started to talk through types of. I wanted to play something different, so we went with a cat, and I was like, okay, it'll be cool if his tail has a personality and he does, but they communicate with each other. And then we had always built the opportunity that if I didn't like playing Bard, which is what happened, that we would flop personalities and have this conflicting
Clash.
yeah, basically headspace going on.
Okay, so my next character that we're playing has schizophrenia and has probably 9 different personalities. Just want to throw that
And
out
I'll
there.
tell you what, Steve, I think you could pull that off.
That's really hard.
9 different voices. Go.
So to me, that was the fun part, because I played Eli the first one, and he was just a grumpy son of a bitch, which wasn't super fun to play. So then this go around, I wanted to play a goofball.
Ollie was
either
so
way,
lovable.
and so I really liked interacting with Ray and really with everyone, and just kind of playing a goofball and then being able to hop between voices. That it was just a challenge, and that was fun for me. So
Somebody noted in chat when you first did that you were also using your other arm for like gestures, and that was a cool touch I didn't think about until they pointed it out. And then ever after, when you would do the switch, I would like peer at your arm, like
yeah.
Well, he started using the tail that
the prop we made.
Steve's wife actually knitted for
Here it
us.
is.
Crocheted, but yeah.
Thank you. I want to be specific about Lorena's skill.
Yeah, so it was, yes, each personality was a different class, technically. Oliver was a bard, and Bart was a rogue. And then eventually, we actually had plans that if we kept playing, that...
to make him a brogue?
No, that he could choose the day of, after a long rest, what he was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was bard for that day or rogue.
Yeah, he was never going to be cleansed, so it was just always going to be rogue.
We had lots of ideas for that, but that's... So, Jake, your favorite memory of the campaign? Because I agree with you, Steve. I thought Jake did that super well in that moment when he switched. That was really good acting.
I liked when you stabbed Tooth,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew it was coming. We talked about it, and I knew that was how I was going to get the other sword, but I didn't know how you were going to do it, and you did it so, like, out of the blue. I didn't expect it to happen there, that you even surprised me. And
Yeah, that's a good moment. If you want to see all our faces go, like, what?
I
Go look at
definitely did a humana with it, because I knew it was coming in that episode, but I didn't know when. So I really enjoyed that. I also really liked the reveal with your daughter, JB. I loved going into your soul.
Yeah, it was
That
fun.
was a lot of fun.
That was a good episode.
That was because, again, that's where
A lot of lore was in there. A lot of
the eating
backstory.
of JB.
That was
began.
eternal, man. Live forever. Because it's silent for a moment, and then Jay goes, bah! And then you were like talking to me through it, and you're like, I go sailing off the edge at 0 HP.
Yeah.
And like none of us knew if that was serious consequences or if it was like he just got ejected from the
Yeah.
soul thing and was like okay outside. Which
that-
is what I thought. So I was taking it really cavalier because I'm like, he's just outside the body.
Dead.
And then when we ended the stream, we were like, so is he dead? And you're like, yeah. And we were like,
Oh I thought that was crazy. I really liked your stuff with the kid with the knife.
Oh yeah.
What was that kid's name?
Clinton and Sally.
Clinton.
Planton.
Clinton and Sally.
Clinton.
That Killian was actively trying to remedy
Yeah.
at the same time.
And I
was ticked at you when you did that.
Yeah.
I was mad at
ticked
you.
at you for doing it in the first place.
Because the way I thought about it when I was June was he feels unsafe now and he doesn't have anything to protect his family. So I wasn't like giving him permission to go do whatever, but it was giving a kid a safety blanket, really.
But you are also giving him permission to do whatever.
With a little dagger. Dude could take a butter knife if he wanted.
Take anybody's life if you want.
Molly,
Did I say that? I don't remember.
Molly, I think you're the last one for favorite memory of the campaign.
Oh gosh. I'm gonna miss the tree arms a lot. That was just so much fun. It's gonna be a little sad when I oimel into doors and the party's not gonna understand what I'm doing.
Also,
That's gonna be a little bit heartbreaking.
Maybe it's
also when she's
Melinda.
ranting forever and like there's no stick.
What I was thinking, if you're the staff just raises itself. Wait, I'm not doing this, guys. Shakes
The sphere of
itself.
friendship.
The sphere of friendship.
That's great.
So that, that was a lot of fun. The Jack thing, that one took me by surprise. Here I was thinking just like a one shot. Oh, he's a cute little guy. And here becomes like a major plot point in Ray's life.
Yeah, he almost died.
I know.
Mariska was fine with him dying.
He might be dead already. Who knows? It was, I don't think I have like one scene, but like a lot of little moments in each episode. Yeah.
That's fun.
I think for Mariska, like for my favorite moment of the campaign, just for my character, I talked to myself in empty rooms and spoke on long car rides that entire speech. I could probably still do the thing, like
With
word
Clinton.
for word. Yes.
Yeah, that was an amazing scene.
And I was like trying to, because for me it was like, how do I have this character open up a little bit when she would never open up about that to really anyone? And the way I had hoped about that was, I'd be going through that whole speech and Killian would obviously, with his freaking 30 perception, overhear it. And I was hoping that's probably one of my regrets from this campaign, is that Killian and Mariska never got to talk about that
Yeah.
Killian overheard that.
Yeah.
But that was really good. I had a whole playlist of sad music that I was hunting on YouTube for to put me in the headspace.
Set the mood for you.
And I told you, I don't live in a house alone, so when I'm acting this out, to try and practice it in advance, I don't know why, but whenever I'm really in the middle of it, somebody always needs me for something. So somebody came to my door and I had tears pouring down my face because I was feeling out which dialogue I wanted. And they'd heard me talking in this weird Russian accent to myself. So I opened the door crying, having just been speaking like this. Yes! That's what I did to be funny, to try and make it less awkward, because I'm this is really nerdy, dumb. How do I tell my parents that oh, I was just role-playing my D&D character alone in my room with my Russian accent crying about it. What do you need, dishes? So that was fun, but I was really grateful we got to get there, because that took 6 episodes to get to that point from the moment I realized that's what I wanted to do, because we took so long to get there.
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah.
Because you and I talked about
It was
you wanted to have
2
a moment
months.
where you could engage.
Yeah.
And so I knew that the easiest way to do that would be to give you a moment with Clinton, because then that's a callback to earlier in the campaign.
Yeah.
To June, actually. So it was almost like this tie between your characters.
Yeah.
Without actually having a June ever meeting Mariska, but
Yeah.
they both influenced this young boy so much.
I think I did that unintentionally and also intentionally, because June died in fire, and then I made my next character based completely on as much fire as I could.
Yeah.
June gave the little kid a knife. Mariska actually, in a flip-flop, showed some vulnerability.
Yeah.
June was a Yuan-Ti pureblood. Mariska hated snakes, it all just
That came around.
flippy floppies.
So, P. Farce wants to know, we talked about your favorite memory of the campaign. What was the lowest point for each of your characters? What was your least favorite thing for your specific character that you dealt with?
Let's
Jake?
see.
Then Steve.
I hated realizing that I hated Bard. it was like a slow descent into this game sucks. I effing hate this. And I don't know why, because everything about a bard I enjoy until I started to play it, and then I didn't enjoy it. So that for me was, I didn't like learning that. That was a low point for me.
Yeah.
But it spurred on some contingency plans we had, so.
Yeah. Steve?
For the lowest point in JB's career was the start, actually. He started off as in the lowest spot in his mindset. In my mind, he had just been going through the motions because he was trapped with the Zent and didn't really have a lot of information. But as he learned more information throughout, even if it was bad information, it was information. He learned more. And so, yeah, for JB, it's definitely started out the lowest in his life. I mean, even learning that his wife was dead a long time ago, it didn't really crush him. It actually spurred him on. Okay, now at that point it was just like, okay, next, like let's just move on. That's what he was until more and more things piled on throughout the campaign. But
yeah,
I don't think he ever dipped lower. It was always a trajectory of becoming who he should have been.
Yeah,
I think.
How about you, Adam? Low point.
You mean besides last week?
I guess you kind of answered that one already.
I was effing pissed.
I don't know. I mean, I think from...
When you ripped out his eyes.
Yeah.
When you that was so gross.
I would say, I think when...
I thought the demon was
from,
good.
Yeah, from a Morthos perspective, you know, I think that's what it was. I think it was when, you know, when he ripped out his own eye because he was kind of under this false, you know, lie to himself that he was basically saying, I'm doing this for the protection of my party. I need to be stronger.
Yeah.
You know, and in that weakness of his own mind, he was willing to tear out his own eye.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that's definitely got to be one of the low points.
For the character.
For the character.
Yeah.
How about for you?
For me personally?
Or was it you not being around for the
I mean, that's definitely got to be the lowest point for me. I mean, well, no, I mean, it
suck.
It was only 3 years, Matt, of real time.
But I mean, I think it's not even just that. It's like, it's the fact that we as a party have never been able to finish the story yet.
I put that in there.
So like that to me is the worst part because like even from Morthos, you know, the cave where our last party got wiped for the most part, and Morthos had to run away with his tail between his legs, literally.
Yeah.
You know.
I always forget you have a tail.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Because it doesn't talk to him.
Yeah.
That's
It doesn't talk. It's not special.
personified.
You know. And then you know there was the Teopolo ship. You know, and we completely just butchered that and failed. So I think for Adam, it's the fact that we've never actually been able to complete a story arc yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
And to be fair.
It is all your fault, isn't it?
I'm the link.
That's true.
Yeah.
Good.
So
That's
we named this stream Loot Die Repeat.
Yep.
For the double entendre of die being the die that we were rolling, and also all of the death.
What? Just kidding.
The dice
Reveal.
the
Channel lore.
And I the types of games that I like to DM, I do not reward poor strategy.
Yeah, we know.
And I don't like games with lots of dumb characters. I just don't like DMing those games, and I will kill those characters. Now, I'm okay with an innocent naivete like Ray has, right?
Thank you.
But a character that's just dumb is not going to live long in a world that wants to kill you, in my opinion. Unless every other person in that party, like, super has their back. And so when I build these encounters and these set pieces, I try to think through, okay, what are all the different strategies, knowing all of the magic items they have and knowing all of the spells they have, and trying to think, like, because I'm an attorney by trade, right? So I try to think of it from every angle, right? What can this argument look like from every kind of perspective? And if they do this, this could work, that could work, that could work. And then if something comes out of left field that I didn't think of, like I'm great with saying, oh, okay, I did not expect that. Let's see how that works.
And then we usually die.
But if you do something that's like, frankly,
dumb,
poor strategically, you're gonna die. That's just how I DM. And that's part of why I want you, the community, to have the ability to help them out, because you can help them out of tough situations, and you guys saved them. The community saved them multiple times.
I can at least
multiple
3.
times. You stopped TPKs, or at the very least character deaths. And you brought back a donkey.
He was an important donkey.
Who's now all alone, just wandering.
The depth of that donkey.
Every time our characters got close to dying, I would feel this like resentment at Killian, because I'm like, we don't have a diamond in case they die.
And so that's how I DM.
They bought the diamond.
And so the fact that, so let's bring this full circle.
Yeah.
The fact that you guys haven't finished a campaign yet,
because we're stupid, we suck,
has been because, well, I think, okay, again, to be fair, the end of campaign 1 was we wanted to do a reset.
Yeah, we were all kind of tired of the characters.
So you guys were, and a lot of you that was your first time playing, and you realized that you wanted to like have new characters. So then we did campaign 2, and that was going along fine, and then COVID hit. And we took like this 3-month break, and we came back from it, and you guys were all like, we kind of want to play with new characters. This story is like, for these characters, we've kind of lost the momentum. And we had done a ton of technical upgrades over COVID, and so we wanted to be able to showcase the stream more. So it was like, okay, we can do a reset here. And so we had a built-in reset with that, not knowing how many would live or die in that final battle. So that was still all randomized, but it was a deadly battle. We knew it was going to be deadly. And then this one, I would say, is like, Mariska, when you failed the clash, which wasn't, you actually passed the clash,
I know,
but then you rolled a 98 on the corruption roll.
I was so, I cannot understate how excited I was.
That one was randomized, dice driven, and then we got into the final battle, and
Badger killed us all.
And you, the community, flipped the script, and that was amazing. But it was also dice driven, because you still could have overcome even the patronage of the community if it literally were not for 3 natural ones in a row.
Idiot.
And as soon as Bart was flipped to your side, Mariska,
I got an ally.
And if he would have been on the other, it was a lot of random stuff. Because if he would have been on the other side of the map, it wouldn't have been JB. It
was stupid because
so
I failed a wisdom check so bad that I charmed myself.
Yeah.
So that's, it's not that you guys have failed per se. There has been intentional resets, and although aided by some poor decisions at times, i.e. Kildrick running out into the middle of the battle and just getting swarmed and immediately killed.
Has a bard.
Sword bard.
His
but a bard
spirit
nonetheless.
guy also got. Spirit guardian guy.
Yeah, he died too.
Moving on.
And Rubius. I
gotta just
that was
Rubius,
such a frustrating death.
In my mind, I don't know why I keep thinking of this, but his best phrase ever still has to be the old ass pimples.
The T-Rex ass pimples. That's funny.
That's a good one.
What do you know about T-Rex ass pimples?
Prince has a good question here.
Yep.
So many of us, talking about the chat, contributed to the campaign. How do you feel about all those things, and what would you like to see more of?
Yeah, so Prince, or PSK, as he is now known, formerly Prince in the chat, he and I wrote a little bit of a storyline, and he actually painted minis for it and stuff with regard to Lord Seed, which was tied up in the Zentarum campaign, and spoiler alert, was what the tower led to.
Son of a gun!
Wait, which there were a couple of towers. Which one?
The tower we were going to.
Oh! Oh, you know
So
what?
the
That's fine,
tower
then.
was going
scared.
to be an
Okay.
overland portal to the island with Lord Seed.
Oh boy.
Son of a gun.
We thought we avoided that because we were like, I don't want to fight a vampire lord right now. At what level are we?
So that it still exists in the world, and we're gonna keep playing in that world, and who knows what could happen in the future. But certainly that was something that you, the community, directly influenced. So some of us play other games that are not streamed. In a game in particular that P-Farce DMs, and in his world we play in Eberron. And in my headcanon, there is a link between Eberron and the Forgotten Realms and Ravnica, where JB is from, the Vedelkin, and from Midgard, and from these other kind of material planes. And so there have been several things that P-Farce has created in his Eberron game that we have trickled in to this game. Jake DMs a game that is podcast only.
For now, we might change that.
Called the Candlekeep Accords. And there have been several things from that game that have trickled their way in. And so if you guys want to get some expanded lore, you can go and listen to the Candlekeep Accords. I actually play a player character in that one, which is fun. And we have some additional cast members in that one. And I don't know what we're laughing at here.
P-Farce keeps grumbling about a staff being left in the tower.
Yep.
Oh, right.
But also grumbling about Eberron leaking. And so Chef says, if your staff is leaking, see a cleric.
I got it. Yeah, that's appropriate.
Fantastic.
So those are all ways that the community has influenced some lore and aspects of my version of the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
But I want to keep going through the question for low point. I think we had Adam and Jake answer, and Steve answered as well. Ladies, Austin.
We're just like, sorry.
Ladies.
Ladies.
Ladies, fine.
Man, I feel like a woman.
Oh, I know mine.
Go ahead, Carissa.
All right, so every time you've ever made me roll like a D100, it was always you wanted high on it. And I never got that high on them. I got maybe I think one of them was like a 70 or something, but I never went higher than that. And so not only was this a clash that I didn't choose, I would not have willingly chose to clash at that moment, but I rolled a 98, and if you watch the stream back, yeah, you can see my face. Also, I was taunting you that whole night, and you know what? I learned a good lesson that night.
STFU.
That was when high was good until you did that.
Yeah, but if you watch it back, you can see me go 98, and you go, oh my goodness, and I'm like, you didn't expect me to do that. Well, I'm gonna get a new power up, and you can't stop me. And then you were like,
And then you
we want to go on this, and I was like, there was evil in the heart, so maybe that's fitting. But in terms of the low character, for Mariska, we had just done this incredible role-playing, unexpected, unplanned alignment change that was so massive, and that was so critical and pivotal in the character I was playing. And so for her to have that unraveled again, 3 episodes later, and not only unraveled, but worse than we started, was so rough. And, I had the 2% left. So the low point for me in Mariska's mind was she never, I built her to live. I was so scarred by June dying that fast that I did everything in my power to make a character that would live.
12 minutes?
No, 3 months, I think.
It's
3
8
months.
episodes.
Yeah. So, I picked the dragon, the draconic bloodline, so I would have a bump to my AC. I took all the mobility spells I could because I did not want to get pinned down again. I took all the feats that were gonna let me like blast damage. Like I wanted her. I said like no matter what, if the party's going down, I'm getting out of there. Like I'm living. I'm not dying again.
That's what happened.
Yeah. So I guess I kind of succeeded, but
Fair point.
so that's the way I played her because I did not want. She would never like give up really, you know. And so the moment where I had her take her ring off, like that was her admitting like, this is over. Like there's nothing I can do about this. So the last thing I can do is not F you guys over as hard as when this overtakes me. So that was like that act of basically giving up was really hard because she is not a person who would give up like that. Yeah. So that was rough.
I'm sorry I made the lens. Just like Bars made the staff, I made the lens.
Badger says, to be fair, this all started when I was sad that the nice lady was sad about her burnt hair.
I remember that.
Yeah, because that was the first time, I think, Badger, you ever dumped bits, and I was mightily shooketh when you did that, because I was like, this is just burnt hair, but all of a sudden we're, like, invoking a hair god, like, okay, and then it kept going more, because you were like, alright, an inch of hair comes back, and then he was like, more! And then you had to keep progressively adding to it, and then it got to the point where we're like, I just gotta invoke hair spell, I guess, or ability.
Yep, and that's all ways that, again, the community totally shaped this campaign, was in particular with your character, Mariska, and the patron of L'Oreal, who is a warlock that exists in the world now, is Badger. And that's directly from...
So Badger's a patron?
What?
So Badger's a god.
Badger's a warlock.
No.
Of L'Oreal.
I mean the actual Badger.
Uh-huh.
Is oh boy.
Well, I mean, yeah. He was Mariska's, I think, primary supporter.
Benefactor.
And in that moment with the hair stuff, that was all Badger who drove that.
Yeah.
Molly, Austin, lowest point of the campaign?
So I think we're gonna be going into Ray's lowest point of the campaign. I always played Ray as like a
good answer.
Good answer.
Good answer. Good answer. Show me.
This is why she lived, everyone.
No, so I always played Ray as like a very non-serious character because Sola was always so serious it just bored me to tears. I'm like, I'm not doing this again. So
That's
Ray
a monk
was...
for you.
Yeah. Hey, never played a monk against squad. Woo!
That's my next character.
She got super bored until she saw a shiny sword up above a dragon.
No, I did that because I was bored. So best switch ever, Sola to Ray. And Ray I just built as like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to kind of think so consistently out of myself. I'm just going to make Ray like I was when I was 13. So I just based Ray off of my own personality, where I
would have never guessed.
Real?
Nobody wants me to make me as a character.
No, you made
JB already.
And Wolfram and old a little bit. All aspects of your personality.
Probably more like Dexter. I'd probably make it Dexter. That's me.
Yeah, so
You don't know me.
I was just building Ray. I'm the youngest of 5 kids, so I was going for more like the annoying little sister kind of a thing where they just talk too much and they're too loud. I'm from an Italian family, so... And I had so much fun with it! And so Ray was never really very serious, so I think we're going to be going into the lowest point that Ray will ever be in. So I'm still kind of working through...
Don't say ever.
Don't say ever. Yeah.
To date.
To
It's the lowest point to date.
A lot of death
Yes,
can happen still.
to date. So it's going to be a lot of deciding, okay, do we want Ray to like kind of mature through this and change her personality a little bit? Is she going to be more serious for a couple episodes, or is she just going to get really angry, smash some things, and then be her normal happy self? So we're still working on how she's going to be processing through it. That's yeah.
Dude, you're gonna be holding somebody by the throat and you just go, boy, Melinda.
That's awesome.
I personally like the monk class, so I don't know why all the hate towards monks. But
I'm not a
There's
wisdom-based person, so it's hard to play.
There's no all this hate. It's literally just me.
I don't know. There was just no monk.
And
right there.
I didn't hate the monk
Solo was
class.
boring.
I did.
hated Solo.
Yeah, Solo was boring.
She just had a tragic backstory, and it just continued to be tragic.
Which is very. And now, that was your first ever D&D character.
Technically, yes.
Yeah. So, like in a real campaign.
Yes.
So it's very common for new players to draw on that kind of tragic backstory trope, and it's very common for new players to realize how much they don't like that trope and they want to do something new with it, which I think is exactly what happened with you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no.
That's not a surprise at all. Austin, lowest point in the campaign.
Yeah, I think for Killian, like, he was trying to be the redemptive factor for
Fat chance.
For the party, just because that's what he had gone through in his backstory of being an adventurer who was a terrible human being or halfling, and then was able to change his ways. So I guess now that I'm thinking more, the highest moments for Killian would be seeing Mariska change from evil to good and being able to see Morthos making the right choices. And so Killian was overjoyed in those moments, and then to see
Sorry, Steve.
It's okay, I'm just trying to talk through my emotions over here. Hey guys, it's cool. It's fine. No, it's all right. I'll remember this next time you're in a monologue.
You did. You guys did. I was trying to cry and Steve wouldn't shut up.
What do you mean, you guys?
Yeah, it was Steve.
One of the things we don't do well as a cast is give people space in their emotional moments.
Yeah.
We can try to get better at that.
We'll try.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'll kill you all.
Who's Killian?
I already did that.
What?
Yeah. So seeing the last episode would definitely be Killian's like a heartbreaking moment of not only is he watching people die, but he failed in this redemptive path that he was set on. So watching friend after friend after friend now again be blown away, and two of them choosing a path of evil in his eyes at that moment, it was very hard. So
okay, two things. The gentleman who did all of our art for this campaign, our character art, is watching. 3 a.m. in Italy.
Oh, that is him.
And he did an awesome job
What's
on
up,
our art.
Kale?
And we're going to have new characters probably coming to you soon.
It was awesome, the art.
It was.
Well, you can see it. It's his art is constantly trickling through the stream, and we showcase it every week. We really like the art. So
it's incredible.
And now they want to know from the DM perspective, what was a high and a low moment for you? And then P-Farce has two more after that I think are really good.
Okay, so high and low moments for me from a DM perspective. So my philosophy of DMing...
High moments when he killed everyone.
No, I actually hate that. That would be my low moments. I hate killing. So I think of Dungeons & Dragons as storytelling. I like telling stories. And it's different for me to DM a home game where we're just rolling dice at the kitchen table and DMing a streaming game. Because with the streaming game, we're trying to tell a story that is actually engaging the community and getting the community to care about the story and about the characters. And so I want to write a story that's compelling, and I want to engage the players in combat that makes them feel like heroes. That's my whole... I'm not trying to kill them. I'm trying to make it that fine line between it being difficult enough where they're afraid of death, yet when they succeed, they feel like, wow, we did it, we accomplished it, we got through. And so my high moments are when I can see that they're legitimately scared of the combat and scared of the situation or the set piece that they're in, whether it be through role-playing or, figuring out the puzzle or some sequence that is very kind of death-defying. and they succeed, and they legitimately are like cheering at the end of it, like, yeah, we lived. Like that to me, those are always my high moments, because I know for me, I feel like I've DM'd right when my players at the table feel that sense of achievement in the game. On the flip side, when characters die, and especially in a game where I have woven backstories so intricately into everything, that is grieving to me, because, well, from a storytelling standpoint, it's like a part of the story dies.
Yeah.
Which is why even with old campaigns and old characters, I've tried to have a lot of callbacks, because it's a way to kind of in some way, shape, or form begin to try to resolve that character's story. So even with the Shades, who have now all perished with the exception of Ray, like in future campaigns, I'm going to have callbacks to some of those storylines just to give the players as well as the community some sort of closure and things like that. So that's how I like
for
to DM.
Instance,
Maybe they'll be singing songs about the Shades.
Yeah, like Cthulhu starts to
Like-
walk out, and I do a
You guys remember-
360.
they're always around the campfire. You guys remember that
So-
idiot group of
that's
adventurers that actually
like
were pretty good at things?
High level, that's how I approach DMing and what I enjoy and what also is difficult. There are some, I mean, my favorite PC to play had to have been Casper.
Casper.
I loved him.
Just because it was like
All hands on deck.
it was so
He was so
Yes,
endearing.
Captain.
he was just a fun character to play. I thought
Zemni was great too.
Zemni was also fun just because the emotional dynamic with him and how you guys kind of worked to redeem him.
How about the sample, the salmon lady?
Yeah,
Lady Ray.
Yeah.
Lady Ray. Yeah, I mean,
Marlboro Man.
you guys make me create characters on the spot sometimes, which I think is every D&D table, because how can you prepare for everything you guys are gonna do? So,
That's our philosophy
I
too.
think that in terms of like low moments, I think that I probably the first it's the episode entitled on YouTube Exfiltration Miscalculation, where June died.
The first farmhouse.
Yeah, because you guys, you had a plan. You had a plan, and then as players, you literally didn't execute it at all. You like, ready, break, and then you went and did the opposite.
What did I do?
Nothing.
No, he's congratulating us.
Good job, team.
and it showed. Like
Just
you
did.
all died, and honestly, the only reason why that was not a near TPK
City.
was because City Guard bought a
Like a
fireball.
Yeah.
A wall of fire, actually. He bought a wall of fire, which separated the battlefield and allowed everyone but June to escape. And June got her face smashed in. And so that
I'm okay.
Now she's wearing a mask and she's under the control
Oh,
of one of the
let's talk about
hags.
that at some point, man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I remember that.
And so to me that was like a low point because
I know it is. Look.
you
That was
guys,
so sad.
honestly, you guys were dumb. You guys were just stupid in terms of how you played that battle.
It wasn't JB, I can tell you that much.
And so part of that was inexperience because Carissa had never been in a big combat like that before.
I also did not know what the I call it the air Smyrmidon. My understanding of what that was so off base. I thought it was like you put the enemy in there to help like add numbers, and I thought I could take it down.
Yeah.
It's not what happened.
No. So that to me was the low moment strategically because it just all unraveled.
Yeah.
So that's how I would answer those questions. I don't know what the other two were that PFARS had, Jake.
So I think this might be for everyone, how it's worded. What is the one unanswered question you most regret not finding an answer to? I think that's for everyone.
Yeah, I don't think that's for me. I think that's for you guys.
Freaking, I wanted to know about this guy with AO.
That makes two of us.
Like I'm the Cave of Wonders, which is why my next character is going to be all about the Cave of Wonders. Is another thing that I really wanted answers to.
Yeah, that's an old one that Yanni would wanted as well. So
Is Sola a god? That's what I want to know the answer to. I guess we'll find out though. She's technically still alive.
She is
something.
She's something. Is she a god?
She's about what Killian is right now, just in a different place. Who knows?
How about you guys at the other table?
When I'm in character, and now I haven't been in JB's character in a week, and I will never be again, I have things that I care about. But once it's gone, like when I'm watching a TV show, once the episode's over, gone. I don't worry about the past. I mean, I'll reflect upon it if something else happens that addresses it, but I care about your story, Matt, but I could care less about any of the secrets JB had now. He's gone.
Yeah.
And so
sorry.
No, it's okay. And for me as a DM, Steve is the hardest person at the table to DM for.
Sorry.
because I want, as a DM, you always want all of the people at your table to have fun. And how the type of story that I'm trying to tell and that we're trying to tell together is not necessarily fun for Steve. So he's always the tricky one to try to engage, to have a good time, while still having everyone have fun, including Steve. So that's always and he and I will meet and have lunch and we'll talk through ideas and stuff like that. So I told him we got to figure out a way for you to be able to die as often as you as your character does, while still maintaining consistency within the story.
Oh, I have a question. So, one unanswered question. It was in the first campaign when we were in Waterdeep. Every time we would go to the library and look in books, we'd always have to make an investigation roll, and we would always fail. I want to know, what was in that library?
You guys didn't understand the Dewey Decimal System?
I'll tell you what was in
10
there.
times.
Love was in there.
That's all we need.
Eli loved Daisy.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah.
The librarian.
So
JB's never been to that library, by the way.
So
he never will.
Never will.
Oh, that's
So that investigation check was
I think it was for
That's
something
so
with
many
Malcine.
that
No,
investigation check was not about stuff that you could find. It was an investigation check that was not an investigation check. I asked you to roll investigation, and it was a perception check. And so I looked at your character sheets and knew what your perception was. It was to see if you saw who was watching you.
It was Daisy. She's in love with Eli, so naturally. No, this is easy.
So there are times where I will intentionally ask you to make a skill roll that is not the skill I'm actually having you roll, because it's too easy for meta knowledge to enter into how you play your characters.
Now I question everything.
You should.
Yeah, wait a minute.
You should, because there are plenty of times where I ask you guys to roll a skill and it's not what I'm actually asking you to roll.
Wait, I don't understand.
Yeah, wait a minute.
So you're
Expound.
saying like roll athletics, but in your mind
give
you're
us some more examples of when that has happened.
More recently.
Or I'll have you roll multiple rolls
Yeah.
and not tell you why,
Right.
and I'll give you an answer.
That makes more sense.
So there's different ways that I'll do that, but it's just to try to combat some of the meta knowledge of stuff that you can't help but bring into your character. So, how about Carissa and Adam?
You go first, Adam.
I'll say my list is way too long.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. It goes.
I mean, if you wanted like unanswered questions, like I want to know like
Mara Deadman.
like
You
who's
have a
Artemia?
sister?
I have a sister apparently. You know what happened to my mother? You know, I mean,
yeah.
Who
you know,
saved you as a kid?
right? Who saved me as a kid? I mean,
That's a big
who's
one.
Zeladon right now? The wizard in Neverwinter? Like who the hell is that guy right now? We know it's not the real one. You know, I
Yeah,
mean,
because you murdered him.
yeah, right. I murdered him. You know, why is Jax always falling for Pain Curse?
Yeah,
You know, what I mean,
yeah.
like there's 1,000
Yeah.
answers that I just want to know.
Yep.
That's true. So many.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions too. A lot of questions.
Carissa?
I mean, I didn't get to play June long enough to have too many of those, but the first one was after she died, and then you described her basically with the mask that she was supposed to get in the ladies' service, but you never confirmed it. And even though I basically annoyed you into giving me like bodily cues to show that it's probably June, we still don't have that confirmed. And I'm like, if it is her, like, how, why is her face caved in under the mask? Like, all of these different,
I'll give you that answer.
Yeah.
That's why she's wearing a mask.
But, like, oh, that's so, like, crazy to think about. And then for Mariska, you know, the focal point for her character was her father, really. And so we were, like, unraveling all these clues throughout the campaign that were, like, sprinkled very far apart. Like, we had the very first hint. The very first hint was with Zemni, saying that 20 years ago it was in the cave. So even though Mariska had, like, suspicions that he was part of the dragon cult, obviously, like, it was never confirmed until that, and it was a series of confirmations. And so that's what I was hoping for, was that reunion with the dad, who was, in my mind, always going to be like a bad dude. Like, that was going to be a boss encounter if we ever found him, but, you know, we didn't, so.
Yeah.
Like, where's Zuas?
Yeah, where is he?
Zeus, the Rottweiler.
Zuaz!
He was a fun PC to play as well.
Favorite Rubius
So I'll tell you
moment?
what, if in the interest of raising money for technical
Yes.
technical upgrades to the stream,
Get dim answers.
For 1,000 bits, I will answer lore questions that are
Oh boy.
Oh,
Go for it.
boy!
Go
Pulls
for
out
it.
his credit card.
Yeah, wait, is this open to us?
If it's
Yes.
not going to directly impact the
It's all a write-off.
the continued stories, I will 1,000 bits. I will answer the lore question, and if you want to pool resources together, so people do, then go for it.
So here's a question from Cal Art, who did the art.
Yep.
He wants to know how much the characters change from the beginning to the end, and in what ways, in what aspects.
Kale, my character Josephus, if you were to have drawn him the day before we
Holy
died,
crap!
then
That was fast.
Just got
10,000.
We got 11,000.
11,000
questions.
For
It's 11 questions. I love it. We're getting all the lore answered.
so Kale, then you would have to have drawn a lens. Is the lens here somewhere? No, somebody stole it. Like a glasses attached to his face, some kind of sentient item actually attached to his face, so his eyes were gone, and
Yeah, that would have been very
replaced by a sort of pair of glasses.
For Ray, the young storm giant that you drew, the last episode, her warhammer broke in half, and now she has a warhammer and a war spear. And that's pretty much the only difference with Ray. Oh, and she has a tiara now.
Okay, do you think he's also talking about just character change?
I think both.
Not just like
Oh, I
physical
think he's
change?
specifically drawing.
Physical, yeah, I mean, in that realm. So my character, Oliver, or Bart, the Tabaxi, had a growing curse on his right arm that was just turning his fur pitch black. And yeah, that was what was happening. But as what was changing inside of him is he had a growing curse that ultimately helped destroy the party last week.
Made him
we
more
didn't take that
feral.
seriously, to be honest with you.
We did.
No, we
They didn't
did.
tell us.
There was a story mechanic that none of you were going to be able to fix it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
true.
we didn't get to where we needed to get to.
Right. We
And
were.
then I killed you all.
Yep. Well, you killed one
Well,
of us.
specifically, I ripped out JV's throat.
Yeah.
His larynx was...
I think you actually ripped out his jugular.
Yeah, I did.
So Morthos changed as well with your eyes.
Yeah, my eyes
In
changed.
particular. And the magic items that you
No longer had.
added
Or
and, then,
added and
then removed. Killian changed with his hair in the coloring, which grew whiter. And wiser.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of
Oh, I
got-
didn't track that.
I got older.
Yep.
That's- You guys aged
Mariska
to me.
changed
stress.
hair
Yeah.
color.
Yeah,
Mariska-
Mariska
Talk
never
about all your
changes
cursed
at all.
items
What are
and
you
such, yeah.
talking about?
Mariska
Every
dra-
episode, she
Yeah,
makes
Mariska
hair
drastically
drawing.
changed.
We didn't even roleplay it too much, but I was gonna start having to do like, I feel like a redhead today, and then I'm just like doing that for fun, but
Yeah.
it was too much off to the side. But
Yeah.
the scales were the big part. I actually even reached out to him to do new art for her because I thought that was gonna be more of a long-term thing when her
Yeah.
hair turned black the
Yeah.
first time. And that was a big like change. And then like 2 episodes later it flipped back. And then it flipped back again, so I was like, I don't know what's going on here. We're just gonna leave it on ice. Oh, and then we died, so. I think June changed
So-
the most
We have a
because her
specific
face got
question.
caved in.
Yeah,
So, but
there's
he
a lot
asked
of changes
he-
from Mariska. So specific question from P-Farce, and the answer is yes, there is a memory.
But that doesn't mean anything to us.
That doesn't mean anyone think to anyone but P-Farce and I, and Steve, I think, understands it better as well.
Those are the worst.
I feel like I should be added into this now. This
And it
secret
is
group.
The secret.
it's something that I would actually have to work out with P-Farce in terms of the scope of that.
Oh boy.
But,
that doesn't bode
so
well
we
for
have-
us.
we have
no.
so you have
11 more
11. You have 11 more questions. I will answer one of them, which is the masked figure with the lady. It was June.
Yeah, but,
And I knew it.
Yeah, but we already knew that
yeah.
one.
Well, no,
Dang
wait,
it.
are you counting that as one? Because I
Yeah.
would not have wanted to use one of those.
Okay. From the very first episode, who's the guy in the purple? Who's the wizard in the purple cloak?
He knows that. Adam's character knew that. Morthos knew that.
Roll a history
the-
check, Adam.
Not the.
He knew the dragon rider.
I knew the dragon rider, but not the one who brought
The
down
guy who
the
started
barriers.
it all
yeah.
and then showed up in the Amphel.
Yeah,
and
and
then-
took down the
Vampire.
barriers to try to
Oh,
get the.
that's Badger. Oh, go ahead.
I don't actually want to know that.
So that I would say
That's
is
major, 'cause
going to be relevant in the future still.
That's
Okay.
a veto.
So I
Vetoed.
would say that would be too much of a spoiler for the overall campaign.
Okay, fine.
like
Why is
meta-narrative.
Jax always hooking up with Pankhurst? Or is
Yeah.
that still going to be relevant?
She's got a type, man.
That's more than a type.
Well, she's a variant too, right?
She wants good life security.
No,
So
she's
I
a
will
changeling.
say
Oh,
that
that's just changeling, that's
She was
right.
a
that Jax is a changeling who is an agent of someone who is trying to collect Pankhurst.
Son of a bitch. Artemia?
That would
Nope,
be
that
two
was enough.
questions.
Good.
That would be two
No,
questions.
you already
No,
answered.
because if don't
You said-
ask,
Oh, because if she
Don't
is,
ask yes and no
then she
questions
used
either. Remember, we're
kidnapping
dealing with a
her
lawyer!
agent against us.
I think he was about to say
Oh.
no, though.
No, the answer was no.
That
which
is
okay.
not what I was
leads
about to
me-
say.
It is. It is. Don't you lie to me.
That's not what I was going to
Don't
say.
you can't handle the truth.
He was vetoing the question. He was vetoing it.
So that's a question. So we got 9 left.
Do you guys have more questions?
Yeah,
Type 'em
we
up.
can.
I
Hurry
don't
up.
know if enough people watched the first campaign to have carried
Well, they could
over
be. It could be
questions.
from this campaign.
Do you care if I use one?
No.
No,
Okay.
we got-
Is
Yes!
Is Wolfram alive?
Was
The real Wolfram. You know who I'm talking about.
was
The
the
real
presence of more than one type of dragon scale in Mariska the result of like early experiments to create a vessel for Tiamat? Because you mentioned a line in one of the episodes about something about raising Tiamat in an avatar or something, and I didn't think about it until that moment. But that was something I always left up to you in my backstory, was why would she have to? We never even really talked about that too much, but the why behind that, I guess.
So the short answer is no.
Shouldn't
Okay.
have killed your party.
That's good.
She is not.
That's the long
She was not engineered or anything like that to be a vessel for Tiamat. But the red scale and the gold scale are very much tied to your draconic bloodline and who your father is.
Was.
Is.
No, is he's still
Oh
kicking?
wait, you're still alive.
He's an
And
elf
she's-
too, so he lives for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh,
So 8 questions left.
Hygar? Oh.
not worth a question.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions from the chat?
Yeah, right. I want some from Chef or Badger.
Oh, do you want to ask if it was your daughter? Well, I mean, we know that, but
Oh,
like
no,
how?
100% his daughter.
The how behind that?
Mm.
You see,
Well,
when
duh.
mommy and daddy love each other.
Oh, you're so
Much.
sassy. How did Phineas get her though, or know to get her?
He
Well,
kidnapped
he took-
Dolly.
He kidnapped. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I
That
forgot
was
about
in
that.
his backstory.
Forgot about that.
Well, Badger did say that Badger killed Dolly. I don't know if that was true or not, but
Definitely not. Is the seed story supposed to help or hurt the party?
Everything's to hurt.
Yeah, wait a
Come on,
minute.
chef.
So the seed story is this is question
that's a
number
good
8.
Ooh, that's a good question.
The seed story is the brainchild of PSK Studio, and he developed a story that is could either help or hurt depending on the choices that you made in it.
Oh,
So
we're
it was
dead.
definitely gonna hurt.
We're
us.
so dead.
We don't tend to make good choices.
And it's meant to be a bit of a subversion of trope.
Ooh, I like those. Those are good stories.
And to let you guys literally choose how that story concludes, which then has implications in the broader world
Classic.
that could help or hurt you individually or the world and collectively.
I like it.
So there was all of that stuff had it, and I don't want to give more than that only because it still exists in the world unresolved.
Gotcha. P-Farce, what would have been the consequence of Oliver finding his coin?
So if Oliver found his coin, he would have been able to cleanse. He would have essentially unlocked the full potential of the Ivory Crest, and would have then had the tools necessary to cleanse Soul Quencher, the Onyx Blade, that would have then been able to meld together with the Ivory Crest to be the God Slayer of the avatar that you encountered in the ritual, that you were unable to kill fully because you didn't have the Ivory Crest
the
upgraded.
elk god.
Yeah.
So that sword would have been to actually kill him dead.
So that was a Merkle Slayer.
That would have been nice to have.
Cool.
Yeah. That would have been
Cool.
sweet.
You know, this isn't really something I don't want to use bits on
6
this, but the
questions
fact
left.
that we have that Orb of Devastation randomly, that we found that, like, what was the, like, what?
I was
How are we supposed
legit
to-
going to open that up.
Dude, I
If
wanted to
if we
know
were
that
if we weren't
blade
in the
so
city,
bad.
I was gonna open that up.
Look what we wrote way back.
Anyways.
I think it's June.
Yeah,
Can
look
we-
at, we
can
have
we-
notes.
The mask I designed.
I think it's June in the mask. That's the mask I designed. And if you find that moment when I put this to Steve, Steve goes like this. And I was like,
Here's another good question. I think Badger's trying to cleanse his soul here.
Yeah.
Did I kill the party, or did the DM simply see a series of bad rolls occur and go with it?
do you want those answers?
Yes.
It was
Yes.
both. It was both.
Yes
We already
and
answered
yes.
this. This doesn't count as a question.
I won't count this as a question because it's not about lore. So Badger, you made it a fair fight because Marishka, because of how you buffed up Marishka with her temporary hit points and all the spell slots back, and then the resistances to all the damage, you made it a fair fight. What really killed the party was when Bart got charmed.
And who bought Bart all of those disadvantages?
City Guard did.
You almost pulled it off, City Guard. You
Yep.
almost pulled it off.
And he rolled it. He
Yeah.
rolled,
Mhm.
and he rolled double ones,
And then I rolled
And then another
one.
and that charmed it. So that was not. Badger made it a fun fight because without her superpowered 5-on-1, really 6-on-1, because Maltoro was there as
And
well.
Miku.
7-on-1,
And he critted me
And
three times in a row.
I critted you 3 times in a row with advantage rolls.
Yeah.
Because I used my advantage that City Guard bought for Miku. So that, I mean, we put you down.
Yeah.
But we didn't put Bart down, who was charmed at that point. And as soon as JB died,
He was already down.
Yeah, Morthos died.
do you want to
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So
My character
L'Oreal
was so important.
L'Oreal began to feed on JB's soul, which is why you were able to come back from 0 hit points.
See, we're together in the end,
Wow.
best
Right?
friends.
And so L'Oreal began to feed on, and then after JB died, so I'm counting this as a question because I'm revealing significant
Yeah.
lore
Okay,
mechanics.
now it is, yeah.
Okay. After JB died, then Morthos died, Loreel got more powerful. And so that's why she was still going at the end, even though Mariska had gotten knocked out. She would have stayed down, unconscious, and you could have had Raj come in and try to do a cleansing
That's what I wanted to happen.
clash again. But she essentially got reset by JB's death.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could play such a pivotal role in our demise.
Now, that also played into what was going on there, also played into why Moshi told you to break the staff. Because there are the hammer. There are dynamics going on that will be revealed in the next campaign arc with you as to what was happening there.
Yeah, didn't know that was a super powerful staff, so that was fun.
None of
You
us
know
did.
how funny
It
would
was
it have
cool.
been if,
I
like,
liked it.
if you sat on it during the campaign, or like somebody accidentally broke it, and then that's just how that goes.
What's the status of Jack?
From Solidart. Solidart.
So
Wow.
Jack is alive in Serloon with his father at the Blue Cow Inn, and he's
Got a new girlfriend.
Oh!
Have they received their coffee beans yet?
they have received their coffee beans.
JB's
and-
objective was met!
and they're making their Java juice.
Oh, thank goodness.
JB's Java
Ooh,
juice.
good
So that
question, Chef.
so that continues, and
Oh, I hope so.
he still has a crush on Ray, though
never
doesn't
coming
know if he's
back.
ever going to see her again because
Probably
of
not.
he knew that she was heading north into the necrotic storm that was encroaching.
Chef
mean-
asks. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna.
So that was question 6. We got 5 more.
Chef asks, will Casper and crew make a return in the new arc? And if so, as allies or enemies?
One question. Only one.
Sure.
That's a good question.
Casper and crew are still alive on the Sarsaparilla,
Yay!
and they are gaining.
Don't we have like 3 boats?
They are gaining
Casper is a fleet captain.
capital,
Yes! Good job, Casper!
He's gonna be
and
the pirate I never could be.
I have rolled for them because they went and hooked up with the Tabashi of Catalyst.
Yeah.
And so there is stuff going on with them.
Yeah, they had to put the coffee beans there. That's why.
It all
motivation.
whether they're enemies or allies depends entirely on choices that
We
the new
will
party will
never
make.
be Casper's enemy, ever.
As long as Ray is alive,
Yeah.
she knows who Casper is and has a healthy relationship with him, so
She does.
that would tend towards an allied disposition, but who knows?
As long as I don't keep failing my history checks.
Oh, yeah, you're the new Morthos now.
I am the
History.
new Morthos. I think my history is +0, so that'll be rough.
So we got 4 questions left. Unless there are more bits that come in, but 4 questions left.
I have a question, but it's not a lore one, so I don't know if we'll count it. It's just a general one for you. Was there an NPC that you had built up more and we just totally skipped right by, and you were like, I'm gonna have to bring them back again, or like something that you had laid a trail and we totally missed it?
Yeah, there was lots of those.
So many.
But that's
So
where either I recycle stuff or it's like, okay, it's in the world, and depending on
Oh, that's a good one, P4.
depending
never
on what
missed-
you guys do,
I've never
like
missed anything.
I will, or I'll even bring it back in another
Ooh,
thread.
I
So
like that one too.
Yeah,
Is it-
P4 is a really
Farce
good one.
asked,
Yeah.
City,
good.
ask one first.
City wants to know if Miku is alive. Can you answer that one?
Miku is alive.
Yeah! All right, I don't feel that bad
Is that
then
a
about
good thing
dying.
or a bad thing? No,
Casper
we
and
don't
Miku are alive.
know.
That's all I wanted.
And then
Miku is alive.
I loved
he
him.
he failed his save, and he was planar teleported.
Dude, it's
But we
gonna be
don't-
just like Thor, where you go into the pit. It's Miku, and you just go, yes.
so P-Farce
We're
has-
friends. I know him.
So we got 4 questions left. I
is
think.
is a pain cursed actually cursed? As in, is it a curse that could be removed by a spell or other mechanic other than death by another pain cursed?
So it's not a curse as an arcane spell. There is a lengthy ritual that is done to an individual who undergoes the the Curse of Life is actually his technical name. And it cannot be undone.
Do you have to be willing for that
it can
ritual?
It can only be ended through the taking of that pain cursed head by another pain cursed Highlander style.
Yeah.
So that's all that we has ever been revealed in the campaign, and that's all that I can answer at this point.
Can you say if Luke was a willing participant in that ritual that made him pain cursed?
Sure. As part of that same question, Luke was willing.
Huh. He is not Luke at all.
As part of non-paid lore question, does Casper still have the letter that JB gave to him when he said, "Do this if I die"?
Yes.
Sweet.
So we did get another question back from City Guard.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're still at 4.
So, and so people know the pain curse thing's not real. Like, it's not in D&D lore. Per se.
Correct. We
made
that
it up for a character, and it's now been pervasive.
Yeah.
So I'll include this in the pain curse question. So this is not a new. So there is the knowledge of how to create pain cursed was given to certain individuals by an individual not native to the Forgotten Realms. And there is a aspects of the prophecy that Sola had and never actually told anyone the full prophecy.
All right. Well, that's next question.
Somewhere.
Say that again?
That relate to the pain curse and the convergence, which the convergence is the meta narrative that I'm tying all of our campaigns around, is the convergence dynamic, which is happening. Well, I'll stop there.
Adam was actually the reason I picked the Storm Giant, because Sola had that prophecy, and that's why I picked the Storm Giant.
Nice.
Was because the Storm Giants were mentioned in Sola's prophecy.
All right. So can we find that prophecy and hear that now?
Yeah,
It's
hold
in
on.
my craft room. I don't think I have it anywhere else.
So are
piece of
pain
paper.
curse the PCs of others who have unfinished business?
I bet you it's on an email somewhere.
They are not. They are. There was Eli. We wrote Eli as a pain curse.
Which is my first character.
Rubius had no idea he was a pain cursed. Matt didn't really have the time to write a detailed backstory, so he basically went with the classic trope of, I have amnesia, you make my story up for me. So I wanted to use Rubius as a way to keep the pain cursed storyline relevant and to tie in some other things. But it is not a way to just keep characters alive. It is a very... So for me, one of my favorite shows growing up was Highlander. I loved
Connor McLeod.
Yeah.
The movie.
And Duncan MacLeod, although number 2 was awful, but and so I loved Highlander, so that was for me the inspiration for Pain Cursed, which was Jake's idea. Wanted to have a character that had lived multiple lives, and then we kind of workshopped that lore and that dynamic into the campaign, which started back in a campaign that I ran pre-stream. So Eli was actually a character from a pre-stream campaign that was on his 5th life, and then he died at the end of that campaign as we then launched Loot Die Repeat.
Fun story, I died in the same cave that we all died in with when Morthos with Moniker.
Got away. Oh, with
With Moniker, the cave, we faced a lot of the same creatures that Eli got killed by the first time. So I died there.
2.
I died there twice.
Wow.
That's gotta hurt.
Ray, I'm looking for...
Yeah, I know it was in an email somewhere, but I'm not seeing it.
Was L'Oreal's endgame to take over Marishka's body and purge her soul? Or was that just a happy accident of fate?
Freaking Badger.
This is the new question number 4.
Correct.
L'Oreal's endgame was to escape her prison, and she was going to try to convince Marishka to do that however she could, whether it was to unleash the anchors in the material plane or to take over her body herself. And so,
and I can say, like, I knew that as Marishka. She knew that because, like, that's how villains think and that's how they work. So that's why when that first cutscene happened where I was in the dream realm with her, I was so careful not to agree to anything. And that made me think that, like, I'm safe from her for the moment because I never agreed to anything and I never, like, said, like, I don't know, like, I just never agreed to the power to it.
You agreed to using the power.
Well, I used it, but I didn't want to, like...
That is implicit
No. That's not how this works.
I found it.
We had to get it written down on paper.
No,
and
I
I didn't. But, yeah.
I know if you can't.
Oh, no,
find
I did.
it
Okay.
today, I could definitely bring
No,
it
I got it.
next
So
week.
this was given to Sola by... Okay, this is question number
3.
This was
3.
by like a griffin lion guy.
So this was given to Sola
Shut
by
my
a Sphinx. Sphinx are
Flying
in
sphinx.
the D&D realm. Sphinx are prophets.
I just read about them today.
in one sense.
Oh, we can
So Sola actually saved a Sphinx in her backstory, and then he gave her this prophecy.
It's gonna make so much.
So you guys have never heard this, and this is okay. You will discover that which must surrender for life. When the day sleeps and Solune's glory is ablaze, when the convergence comes and the narrow gate opens, as the horde sings and the daughter of Anam screams, the bond formed must provide aegis for the heart of centuries.
What?
The bond. Say that again.
What?
The bond formed must provide ages for the
Aegis
centuries.
is capitalized, right?
I don't know what you're
I
talking
believe
about.
so. Yes. Aegis
Like
is
Aegis,
capitalized.
like
Yes.
1 little, 2 little,
Yeah.
3 little cobalt.
Yeah, that one.
Wait,
Is
what?
that Aegis?
Wait, I'm missing something.
So Aegis came into our campaign. This isn't a question. We went to Comic-Con in Indiana.
Yeah.
Adam, me, Steve, Matt, and Matt's son, and Rich, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
who
Rich
Good old
played-
Vinny.
Who played
Who played
Vinny,
Vinny.
And Yaga.
Yep.
So we went out there, and
goes fun.
Steve put on a game at night when we weren't walking around seeing all these cosplayers and people hawking wares that you could buy for $12 cheaper on Amazon. We played a game where
We
Matt...
love Comic Con. Sponsor us.
We do. And Matt made a character called Aegis, who was this Warforged badass dude.
There's a war wizard and a forge cleric.
That's it. Who was
Whoa.
Warforged.
He's unkillable.
Warforged.
Yeah,
War
literally
wizard.
unkillable.
He was unkill. He was unhittable.
It was insane, and we thought the character was funny and fun, and then we come back to play our campaign, and like 3 weeks later, who shows up but Aegis does,
Yep.
and now he shows up in a prophecy, and he became super important because, well, the DM had to make his character super important.
Well, if you don't know, Aegis and Hold were both constructs, right?
They are both constructs.
Warforged.
Yeah.
Warforged.
And Aegis came and collected Hold's dead body parts.
to re-put them back together, I think.
Yeah.
We think.
And
Yeah, we
it
think.
was implied
We could
that
actually ask
Hold
that.
had lost memories. And the whole thing with Tyr.
Oh, Hold had the memory?
No, Hold lost memories.
So who took them? that lady dragon? The shadow dragon? Come on, we need another 10,000
Wait,
Like a
people.
prior
The Dark
life.
Lady.
D&D,
And
We have,
also
we have
why-
2 questions left.
D&D player 88 said his stream lagged and he missed the end of the prophecy.
I'll read it
One more time.
one more
Yes!
One more time.
time. I'll read it one more time.
Type it, please.
Somebody quick.
Copy and paste.
I'll just rewatch the stream.
You will
Voice to
discover
text.
that
Yes.
which must surrender for life. When the day sleeps and Solune's glory is ablaze, when the convergence comes and the narrow gate opens, As the horde sings and the daughter of Anam screams, the bond formed must provide aegis for the heart of centuries.
Centuries or centuries?
Centuries.
100 years?
Centuries. Yep.
Also, I think there's an eclipse in there somewhere. Sun sleeps and the moon's in full.
I think the hopper is the heart.
I think it's the.
Everybody place bets now.
Something's gonna put the sun out and light the moon on fire.
It's the
Cthulhu, maybe.
It's the modes of creation.
And it's all gonna happen at the same time, right?
Oh, the modes of
That's the
creation.
convergence.
Yeah.
Once it's all happening.
All right, you got 2 questions
Once
left.
the prophecy of Revelation is fulfilled.
It's basically Revelation. So when do the 7 trumpets sound, Matthew? And the 7 lampstands.
And the seals get broken?
Yeah.
Wait,
Badger, I just listened to that
Scout
song
and
the other
Scrap
day.
were in that?
Scout?
Hold on. I'm just reading what Farce wrote, and
he
I don't remember hearing those words.
No, but he basically, what I think he's doing is listing all Warforged that have been playing an important
Oh,
role.
okay, got it.
Yeah. So the for hold, hold was referred to as, what was the word?
Yeah.
He was a.
It's a British term.
It is a British term. Gosh.
See, I ripped the pages of notes out of my book because I didn't want to cheat, because JB didn't know any of that stuff.
Did you actually?
I ripped them all out. They're not here. Ray is when we met Ray was my first page.
Did you really? Did you use that to take notes? Like, what did you write in there? Because I never saw you writing like actual notes.
Only the things that I wouldn't remember that
Hold
JB
is referred to.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta go to my
I never write anything
notes.
down that JB doesn't. That my character doesn't know.
It's physically in my notebook.
That's for any game I play. I don't write down any notes of things that my person would not know.
My actual notebook is here somewhere. There it is. I have it in here. This is from campaign 1.
There's a lot of questions in there.
You guys have, I think 2 left.
Yeah.
Someone quickly read this to Matt and see what happens. Longing, Rusted, 17, Daybreak, Furnace, 9, Benign, Homecoming, 1, Free car.
Oh, I gotta go so far back.
I don't think he's a Winter Soldier, Badger.
Should we ask if one of the gods fell? The one that was protecting
Amphale?
What's going on with the gods? I mean, that's obviously
Yo, what's going on up
Oh,
there?
that's where
It would have been in Blue Alley.
No, the first time I referenced it was with, it's on the tip of my tongue. Was in the Frostville.
Yes, the very first time.
Virgla Rhyme mentioned it. She was the first one who mentioned it.
Yeah.
I got it right here. Hold on, I'm bringing up my notes. You are referred to as subaltern.
That's
Subaltern. That's
Subaltern.
Subaltern.
It's a rank and file, right?
I mean, in British, it's a British military term, but in my lore, it's a little different than that.
servants of the god.
Aegis is a subaltern, and Hold is referred to as a subaltern.
That's right.
And it is unclear if that is all Warforged or just a particular kind. So, all right, we got 2 questions left.
I can't think of anything else, but then again, you guys have been the ones on this since like day 1. Ow. Oh wait.
I kind of want to know why AO is involved now.
Hey, wasn't there a... Well, this isn't
Compared
worth
to
a
other
question. Never mind. But I feel like he implied that the leader of the Ordo Lux is like evil or taking over something, sending Cassette away.
In Serloon?
Yeah, you implied that. But I think that's going to be directly relevant, so I'm not sure if you can answer anything about it.
I'll answer that one.
Well, hold on. Before you do, do you guys want to use that one for questions?
This would be the second question. So this is part of the world that's moving on.
Oh, okay.
So Cassette will now die.
Yep.
And she was sent there by a member of Ordo Lux.
Beskin, right?
Who was So he was the leader.
Yeah.
He was not the bad one.
Who?
Oh.
Who was the bad one?
Was it Sir
leader was
Paladin of
second-
Thickness?
It was the
second in
it was the
command,
other
was a
guy.
chick.
Wasn't her.
No,
either.
it was the
way.
Dragonborn.
It was the Dragonborn.
It
Who
was
was
the
No way! Who revived us?
He revived
Yeah.
you,
The Dragonborn.
and he is a member of the cult of the dragon.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
They're the
And
ones trying to get the key.
He was
that
a bronze
there.
dragonborn, but he serves Tiamat. And there's a whole backstory with
That's
that.
breaking a stereotype unexpectedly.
And so so Sarah Loon is in significant peril because you didn't learn that about. So you saved Sarah Loon, but
Was there a way we could have learned that
Yeah.
other than
well, yeah, you
saving Kazette?
saved Kazette.
Yeah.
Because she figured it out.
Yeah.
Oh boy, and that makes so
After
much
my
sense.
tip, it was my tip to her.
Because he pointed us at Beskin so that we would suspect Beskin.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
that
not talk about our
son of a
tips.
dragon.
How do Warforged in your game have sapience?
Is this question?
See you, Chef.
I think he's just asking.
So Warforged in my game are not native to the Forgotten Realms. They are created for a very specific purpose. Okay, this is a question, right?
Well,
Yeah, he
it
paid.
depends-
He paid.
Okay,
it
he
depends
did.
how far you're going with
it's
it.
fine.
Yeah. So this is going to be a lore question.
Then,
That's fine.
Yeah.
This is
sure.
our
Okay.
last question.
So the subalterns were created in Sigil, the
Okay.
city of doors, which existed in its own pocket dimension.
Where's
Which we have
Solomon?
That's
visited.
right. In the one dungeon we were in, there was a room where there was where Jay Hole. There were all these
The
pictures
blue
on
alley?
the wall. It was the blue alley, and
Yeah.
there was a door with subalterns there. That's when one of the time. Yeah.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
so subalterns in my lore are, they are essentially the realm keepers, and there is a type of order that they're trying to maintain, a type of balance P-farce that they're trying to maintain, and yet they can be killed, subverted, destroyed, which is what happened with Hold. And then
He
there
couldn't become a paladin.
Another one.
he couldn't become a paladin, but he was rebuilt by a very wise artificer, and he was he was originally created in Sigil by a artificer from the Forgotten Realms, and he worked with certain individuals within Sigil to help create essentially an elevated Warforged construct. Not the normal run-of-the-mill Eberron type Warforged, but subaltern are elevated.
Would that be what's... I guess this would be a question for P-Farce then. Would that be what Scrap and Scout are trying to accomplish?
We have no idea.
That's why now it's back to him.
Well, that's because he never knew any of this. This is in my lore. So subaltern are elevated Warforged that are meant to keep balance and to be realm keepers, to not allow things to break. But there is a countervailing force that presses against them, which is trying to hasten the convergence.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it at that.
So here's a question. We have one more question. One more for the night of lore. But here's a question that
Unless more bits
True.
come in.
here's one that I don't necessarily think has to be a lore
Save
question.
your money
just
for
a
my
question.
ability
The DM.
scores.
What was the biggest thing that you set up and the party did not find?
Oh yeah.
Ah.
Happiness.
So there's this staff in the tower.
Oh, I hate you.
Well played. Well played.
No, so there was a so the tower was a big thing. That was going to be a significant story branch point and jump ahead. There were So there were on my random roll table for travel, I had some stuff in there about that was more character development. So there was another one of your Killian's adventures that you could have come across.
Ooh, and lost to death.
I'll leave it at that. Kinshasa could have come back up.
Kinshasa?
Not Kinshasa. Katya.
Katya.
Katya, the tabaxi that you the platinum tabashi.
I heard that.
Tabashi.
So there were several things like that you didn't get to just by happenstance. The biggest thing you guys missed was with regard to what was his name? In Serloon, the head of the
the guy who got beheaded?
The merchant guy?
the head of the so the head of the Night Knives, who was also a member of the my brain's
Harper's?
Harper's. So there was a whole bunch of stuff that you could have done. Kelson, thank you, Kelson Mayer, the halfling. Stuff with him that would have taken you into the political side of Serloon.
Darn.
That would have allowed you to figure out the lady stuff and got you to the dark house. That had the first aspects of mythos and void magic. That would have then there was stuff in the dark house that would have allowed you to get through Drong Tower easier.
Oh,
good.
No!
I found that rather easy. I don't understand.
You suck.
And you would have been able to kind of upend the lady's leverage.
Found that easy.
Damn.
With Jack, because you would have dealt with the Zentarum by way of the Night Knives and learning who the head of the Zentarum was.
Oh boy.
So you guys didn't go that direction, and
we chose the path of pain.
You chose the path of pain.
Yeah, we did.
Well, two of us did go to that place, but we were not granted entry.
No, there was. I think me and you went.
Yeah.
We couldn't get in.
And everyone else didn't. Nobody else tried. We kind of split up in town and never.
So the one who could have got in there was June.
Oh. Well, she died pretty
quick.
And you there was an opportunity when she was in the city right away.
Like for 4 seconds.
Because she teleported in, and you had several sessions before you left to go on to head north.
Yeah.
And she just never went. So she would have gotten through the miasma. They would have taken audience with her because she was a Yuan-Ti.
Damn.
I can say though, like I wouldn't have done that because I was not confident enough in the narrative to feel like I would have known what questions to ask.
Yeah.
So it did make sense.
So that was a thing, but you could have also gotten backdoor in there through the Night Knives, following that storyline.
As a follow-up question,
I think we're out of.
have
questions.
all of the pain curse that we've come across been humans?
No.
No, there was a Minotaur.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a pain cursed.
That was the
And
first one that Eli
Thorig was a
killed.
dwarf.
Yeah.
And the implication is that one of the hags is a pain cursed.
Yeah.
Also Artemia.
Artemia, who is an elf.
Also Luque.
Luque, who's the only one who appears human.
Oh.
I hate him.
And Eli, who is
he was variant.
He was a variant human.
We need like a menu when people are actually going to be paying to do things to our characters. We need like a menu and pricing.
Yeah, should we end with just some character?
Yeah, like what our
forethought?
next characters.
So here's what I want to do, guys. Part of this is to help to raise funds for better sound equipment and better lighting. Part of it is to give you guys some agency in the character creation. So, we're gonna roll the character stats. Usually I do a point buy. I'm usually pretty generous. I usually do a 30 point buy, and you can go up to 16 with your point buy. In Raw, it's up to 15. And I let you decrease your stats from 8 down to 6. So if you really want to min-max, you can do that. Which certain certain of the cast like to min-max and others don't mind. or don't care. We're gonna
Yeah, I
roll
don't care.
stats this time, and I'm not giving them any re-rolls. So we're gonna pick a roll system with no re-rolls,
I've been doing that
But-
all week.
but for 1,000 bits,
Ew.
you, the cast,
Ew.
can buy a re-roll for an individual player.
9, 10, 11, 12,
Now, when you say
13.
re-roll, you mean like
Yeah.
re-roll all the d6 or just one of the d6, or
You
what's their
can re-roll one of your rolls.
one of the rolls?
So it would be it. So here's what I was thinking is you guys are rolling 3d6.
3d6.
Yep.
Ooh.
So when you say re-roll, it would be all 3 of them, or we get to re-roll any one of those?
You
Yeah,
could
everybody's testing
you
this.
could either or.
Either or. Okay.
You could re-roll all of them, or you could re-roll one of them. But it's 1,000 bits per re-roll.
All right, let's do the math.
I
3
didn't
rolls,
roll
5
anything
saves.
above a 13 there.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Me neither.
Yep.
It's
So
gonna
again,
be bad.
so you the community can pool bits
boy.
again. So if someone wants to do, go in halvesies or whatever, you can buy rolls. I've also let the cast know that they can buy themselves re-rolls, if they care to do that. So we are not going to buy re-rolls tonight.
Do we have to? Did you say? Do we have to proceed with the new roll, or can you choose if people are paying bits of that amount?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like if you do a re-roll on it and it's even worse than the
Yeah,
one that you were
it's- you can
re-rolling.
keep
Okay,
the-
cool,
yeah.
cool.
16.
So folks can. So that's what I'm thinking. For the stat rolls, and I don't want to make it easy for you guys to be OP, but I also want to give the community the opportunity to boost up characters they want. The other thing that you, the community, can purchase are levels for the characters.
Yes.
So the starting level for the characters is level 1. And
Gosh,
if you,
please help us. I don't want to start at level 1.
If you want them to start at a higher level,
Like 10.
you can purchase levels for them, and you can pool bits, and that's 5,000 bits per level.
Per
Per
person.
character or
What?
per
Per
for
character.
for the party.
For the party.
Oh, okay. So we all
okay.
level up together.
Yes.
That
Yep.
would be really funny.
So
if
it's
somebody's level
5,000
one.
bits for a 4 level for the party.
So 50,000 gets us to level 10.
11.
11.
We're starting at 1, right? So
We start at 1 regardless, right?
So 11.
Let's see. I got 18,000 bits right now. Let's go. Who's gonna match?
Dude, I just bought 60 something bucks of bits.
So that's what we're gonna do for levels, and
D&D
Anything with
says,
channel
what can we
points?
do to help with channel points? I don't
Can
even know what
anything
those are.
help with channel points? I don't even know.
so there's a
I mean, I know what they are, but
yeah.
you don't do too much with them.
I don't
We don't do
yeah
very much
I don't
with
even.
Oh, jeez.
What's a channel point?
You get them when you watch.
We were
Oh,
going
those down
to
to the bottom?
we
I'm
were gonna
139,000 of them.
Yeah, I'm up
we were
there,
gonna
too.
do we haven't gotten to it yet, like special emoji type things and stuff like that. We haven't really
Oh boy,
Yeah.
you guys.
Not
so
good.
that's
These are not good.
so that is how
really
we're
bad.
gonna. So the community can buy re-rolls and can buy levels. Finally, you, the community, are going to speak into, and this is up to the individual cast member, because certain cast members like to retain agency over their characters, and certain cast members are open to, hey, you guys pick X, Y, or Z. But you are going to be able to speak into the details to varying degrees of the cast members, and you can cheer bits towards those details as well. And I don't have any numbers in mind for that. That's where we would let you guys kind of self-determine what those that the details that the cast member is inviting you into, what those details would be. If you guys enjoy this and want to beef up folks in different ways, I would consider allowing the purchase of certain magic items. And depending on what level they are ultimately starting at would be the types of magic items I would allow the purchase of. So Again, this is all ways for the community to really kind of shape some of these characters and to raise money for the improved production with the mics and the lighting and everything. If there are recommendations that the chat, other things that the chat would like to influence and purchase, please type it into the chat now. And I would love to hear your ideas as to what you would like to influence and speak into, and we can figure out how to do that.
Just so everyone's clear, when are we going to start the stat rolling then next week?
So next week we're going to do 2 characters.
Okay.
Are we going to describe some of our ideas?
So
Yeah,
next week we're going to have 2 people describe the concept that they have and to what extent you're inviting the chat to speak into that. We're going to roll character stats, and I also understand that some characters' concepts may change based off of the stat rolls.
Yeah.
So some people might want to play a crazy tricked out monk, but then you only get 1 great stat roll, and the other every level your monk is or a barbarian is probably not going to be optimized to the degree you want to play an optimized character, because you can't max wisdom and dex. You can only do 1, right? So we recognize that influences some folks' character creation. So here's the question, and this is not to the cast, but really to you guys. A, are there other things you guys want to buy and influence? And B, which characters do you want to go first? Ray is not gonna re-roll her stats, so
Sure, we have an
she
uneven
will
number.
she will be
OP.
affected in other ways.
We have a chance.
She will be
Let's
affected in other ways.
Everyone else is like 10s and 11s.
So
82 damage.
yeah. So other things that you guys would like to speak into and influence, and which 2 characters would you like to go first, or two cast members would you like to go first?
Yeah, I'd also like to hear like feedback on what you liked about us as cast members and things that we could improve on or not. Like I'm up for some constructive criticism. So
Unless it's really mean, then whisper.
yeah, then just
You
tell
can
me
give
I suck
some
in a whisper.
degradative feedback if you'd like.
Or you could do the compliment sandwich, which is my favorite. You compliment, you critique, and then you compliment.
Oh,
Best way that I get
I thought it was the
critiques.
other way around. You critique, you hella critique, and then you lightly critique.
No, that's just for jerks.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Steven Strategy has some interesting suggestions here. Allow a player to avoid a fumble roll or allow an extra action. Maybe that can be something that can be bought.
Okay.
Fumble roll being like a
That would
fail?
be a pretty to enhance the action economy could be super broken.
Yeah.
Or
I would allow for that, but that would not be cheap.
or up the damage die on a hit.
I would allow for that as well. Enhance a damage die.
Especially after someone crits or something.
That already happened. Could you imagine if they bought an extra damage die when I'm level 9 again?
Yes, I can
Oh
imagine.
my goodness. 2d12 plus 2d6.
Plus,
Dude, you
They
are
put
a,
up
you
the
are
Oh
a
my
crit
goodness.
factory though.
So I would allow for
That
that.
was a highlight when I rolled 4 crits in a row.
That was insane.
That was crazy. That was
if you were
crazy.
any other person, I would have thought you were lying. But because
What
I know
else-
you
what else
IRL,
was
I was
the-
like, how?
Chat giving us anything in terms of other suggestions?
Can they get a timeout for 500 bits? So like the mercy moments you've given us, where you're like, I will allow you to metagame for 30 seconds, and then we're all like, what are we gonna do?
Sure, I would allow if the chat wants to give the cast an opportunity to pause and in-game strategize. I would allow that.
Just get into 6 episodes of planning again.
Well, I mean, it has to be within reason.
I mean, it could be like the NBA. You've got a 30-second timeout and you got a full minute timeout. And we could even like have a
Ooh. I like D&D players.
yes.
Yes.
Ice cream.
We
Can
need
we
more
get
ice
a mini
cream.
mini freezer down
Hells
here?
yeah.
get ice cream every week, I could definitely get behind
All
that
right.
one.
Get
Who
some-
cares about mine?
Get some frozen Reese's.
Yeah.
Screw microphones and lighting. I want a mini
Right,
Snickers.
mini freezer.
Snickers
Go
ice cream
for it.
bars.
I don't. How much do mini freezers cost?
Are we not an
Actually,
official
We're not gonna
D&D?
do
150
any-
bucks.
I'm gonna go to Home Depot and buy a pet freezer for 400.
We can put it right in there. Yep.
Are we not
20 bucks a
though?
piece, and we got 20 bucks. We can just go get
My
one.
parents are moving. I actually do have
We
access to a
have
refrigerator.
we have a
and mini
6 foot
fridge.
by 8 foot walk-in freezer that we could maybe set up.
My children will raid that every single.
No, there's a lock.
No, we'll lock it.
You should lock it.
Yeah,
Can and we
Lock
would.
it.
100%.
We
Wait,
can
was
and we
there-
would.
We see
That's
Connor
hilarious.
with a deadbolt.
He doesn't know how to work bolt cutters.
What else?
would learn
What else
pretty
do we
No
got?
question. It was your fault.
Any other suggestions for purchase, or again, which character should we start with next week?
Do we have an email for Loot Die Repeat?
info@lootdierepeat.com.
Because it could be something that like people can't think of something now, maybe
Yeah,
during
yeah,
the
Put it
week.
on Discord.
And
I forgot we have a
Discord.
Discord.
Add it into the Discord channel.
Completely.
Put it right on
I went
Discord.
back to 1998 and gave out our
So PFARS just brought you guys a level. Level 2. You are level 2.
You know, I think we're ready for the storm,
PFARS.
Thank you.
though. I think, you know what? We're not a legit D&D channel until we have a wormwood table, apparently.
What do you
gotta
mean?
get
Are
something
you
you're
gonna
not
buy
doing.
that?
These are
Yep.
these are custom made tables.
These are custom made tables.
No.
Technically, they're
I am
yours.
Master Carpenter.
For your card table over there, sir.
If we did have those, we could get the ones that have the little TVs in them, so then it would solve this problem.
Anyways,
Listen, you have a 70-inch TV right here.
And I can only
I
see a
can
third
see.
of it.
I literally can't see the figurine
Move.
that's on there.
6 inches to your right.
I mean, yeah.
I'm still missing a third.
I think that was my favorite
Slightly
thing about us.
inconvenient having the camera right in front of the
Hashtag
TV, but
first
not
world
enough to get
problems.
a different.
I like how it took
monitor.
us
Like,
almost an entire year to figure out to move the tables the way we did.
That was all Adam and
Set up
Dom.
like that.
I was.
Yeah, we'll
So-
come up with something.
We should bring out Dom, the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should.
come here, Dom.
Dom.
This is our tech man. Please.
Blame him for all the things that go wrong.
Ooh, we got another level!
Thanks,
Level 3 features. Woo!
I'm gonna have to up the price.
No.
Are you in here,
Yeah,
Dom? Can
yeah.
you
Let's
see?
go level 4.
I'm trying
Do I hear 4? Level 4. Level 4. Level 4.
Wait, how
So
much
this
is
is
it? 5,000 bits?
Sivanic.
Yeah.
He does all of our
about
tech
to get us to
and our
14.
stream, and he is the admin for our Discord.
He
and
also
he's
plays a
Dude, it's only 200 bucks for
a terrible decision making of
And the merch.
getting people coordinated.
Yeah, the one making the very bad choices.
Oh my goodness! If I bought bits on a game,
All right,
I
I'm
would
gonna say
never
right
hear
now.
the
I'm gonna say
end of
right
it
now
from
before anything else happens. At level 5, the price goes up.
No.
Stop it.
No, that's not
That's
fair.
fair.
What does the price go up to?
To 10,000.
Oh my goodness.
That's a total.
PSK wants to know: can we buy new skills and abilities?
Ooh.
Yes,
Okay, cool.
but it has to be.
Character relevant.
I retain veto power of or
Brokenness.
or tinkering
Tweaking.
power.
Okay, Kim Jong Un.
I would like the power of instant
We're at
Level
level. You guys are at
We're
level
at
3 right
3.
now.
Yep.
I thought.
No, we're at
No,
3.
there
We
was-
just got another
We're
one.
at 3.
Started at
So
1.
City and PFARS both bought a level.
Yes.
I'll be honest.
Level 3, level 4. I
Were
think
you starting at
5,000
level
is a
0?
fair
I-
amount.
Uh-huh.
Were you starting at
Yeah, but if
No.
at level 5 it'll go up.
I mean, I don't want to start too high.
Yeah, that's how I felt too.
But
Like I
that's
don't
not
want
up
to be
to
like
you.
a
That's up to
9.
the community.
What do you mean you don't want to start it too high?
I want to start at
I-
level 10.
I don't have any
I wanna
fun
start at
doing
level
that.
10.
I would
Holy
love to
smokes.
start at level 10.
So
Badger.
It's level 6.
Holy
Badger.
Level 6, baby! Oh, level 6. Level 6 and a half! We're 6 and a half!
All right, so you
So
got
is
to
that
level 4 from Sivanic, and then you're at level. Yeah,
6.
so we're at 6. So you're at level 6.
And a half.
No, 6 and a half. Yeah.
504.
5,000.
500.
That's awesome.
So 6.5.
Now I'm happy.
Badger, who do you want
It's
to
all
most?
gravy from this point on. I'm happy now.
It did. It was all at once though. Yeah, but it would have been 500 to get it to level 5,
5,000.
and then or 5,000, and then 10,000 to get it to level 6, and there would have been 5,000 left. So there's 5,000 towards level 7 right now, and we need
Including
5.
Oh, I would love
No,
to start above
that is-
level 10. My
that is
build
what
changes so
Sylvanic-
much
that
if we
includes
start
Sylvanic.
right at 10.
Yep.
All right, so wait, we gotta answer who's gonna roll
Raccoon
stats
troll!
first.
Badger,
Yep.
all sins are forgiven from me.
I never blamed you, Badger. It was
How can I
always
ever
her.
blame my patron?
It was always her.
What we did was beautiful.
Ain't that some shit?
All right,
And evil.
how do I get
But it was
20,000 bits?
So who's rolling stats first? We gotta decide this.
I drop a.
Oh yeah,
one of them.
characters next week going.
Yeah.
Well, I know
Oh, yeah.
you have your
So we're at least
character
rolling
fairly
sevens, because
fleshed
I'll,
out,
Yeah.
I'll get the other half
So
level.
maybe you should go next
I
get
next
it.
week.
I really
I'm
want
I
to
think
go
Matt wants me to
as
go
soon as
last.
possible.
Oh.
So
Hype train.
I would vote Steve goes, and I think Carissa's also ready to go.
Well,
like
we wanted Carissa to go last.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Gonna last.
Yeah, because she has her concept more fully fleshed out. So I think
And I have art already.
so
Steve,
for people who don't, we want to try to get that concept for them
you.
so that they can have more time.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
I
I'm
think-
willing to allow everyone to
Steve
choose
and
everything
Adam?
Okay,
I'm-
so then we'll do Steve
with the
next
basic
week.
starting concept.
Hey,
that,
we're at level
uh,
7 now.
I would
Okay,
suggest.
so we're at
but-
level
There we
7.
go. Level 7.
Holy
7. I like it.
smokes.
That's a good
Dude.
level.
It is a good level.
Okay, well, I'm updating that.
So
character.
30,000
Turn
more
the
gets me
computer
to
back
10.
on.
We're not. You're really gonna donate 30,000 bits?
Oh no, I'm just excited. I get to update my character sheet to level
Yeah.
I'm
7.
gonna have to reach out to some people.
Hey, listen, guys, I would suggest saving bits for rerolls.
Yeah. That's gonna be rough. That's gonna be
Picard says
hardcore
Steve
rough.
and Jake.
Okay.
All right, Steve and Jake will
Patrick,
do.
good God.
Steve and Jake will go next week, and we will have high-level character concepts from the. Excuse me, and then you guys. I'll tell you right now, Steve is a malleable mass of clay in your hands. Jake has a more defined character concept, and but is going to give you opportunity to speak into certain things. And if you are looking to buy special abilities like a la Hairlord Badger type stuff, I'm willing to work with you to work through that. And if you want to make these guys high-powered people, we can do different type of. So if we're gonna build the characters, then we're gonna build the campaign arcs,
Yeah.
and you guys will be able to give bits for that as well. So that's all coming up in the next couple of weeks. We'll have Steve and Jake go next week, and then we'll have Austin, Adam, and Carissa go the following week. So that'll be done then with the character creation. We'll start working on art, and then the next week will be world building, and we'll see how that goes. And we'll try to. I don't know if we'll be ready in a month to do a new campaign. We
I
might.
hope
do
so. I
session
can't wait that
0.
long.
We
gotta
might
do
do.
it.
We might do some. I don't know. We'll work with you to figure out what we want to do with some things. So, there could be a session 0 where Ray is almost role playing by herself.
Cool.
That'd be fun. I would totally be here to watch that.
That
I'd bring snacks.
Me too.
Wait,
Ice
we
cream?
could be the like the people in the stands cheering the fight.
Well, I think that there. I have some stuff.
I have some stuff.
Everyone should be here for that. But I have some ideas. So
Better drink a lot of coffee.
that is the scope of things. The chat's going too fast for me to follow. Anything that I'm missing here?
There was just questions about stat rolls, but I think
clarifying.
Steve asked them.
Yeah.
So
if
we'll
you-
do 3d6,
Oh, that's so brutal.
and they're gonna roll. They'll roll 6 times, and then you can buy them rerolls. So it's look, guys, we really appreciate you. You're an
Yeah.
awesome community. You support us so well. We love playing this game with
And the people
you.
we've gotten to know through it. Like,
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
It is
Like,
really awesome.
crazy.
If you're not on the Discord, please join the Discord. It was great to see Alberto Cariardi, also known as CAA Art, I think, who did our character art. And we're really looking forward to the artists out there doing some new character art. We'd love to have in our rotation several different styles of each character. that would be super cool. So, yeah, we really, really appreciate it. And invite your friends to join us. I know watching D&D online is not everyone's,
cup of tea,
but
Should be.
it should be. So invite your friends, and we really
Especially when you
appreciate
get to be involved.
And
in
as
it.
we're starting a new campaign, this is a great time to engage with some new folks, especially if you guys have the ability to influence things before we start. So that'll be super fun. We do want to try to leave some things mysterious for the characters so that there can be stuff that's like, oh, this is fun. But we want to give you guys a lot of ability to influence the creation of it. So thank you so much, so much for your support. Thank you for, helping us to continue to build the stream. I think we got a lot tonight. Close to, I think, half of buying one of these $350 mics. So that's awesome. That's super awesome. We really appreciate you guys. So thank you so much for that. P-Farce, we do need to talk, and we will talk. I feel like it needs to be a phone call and not just
on speaker.
a Discord
phone call on
conversation.
speaker with.
And yeah. Well, that's part of Memories Remember, and that's a problem. Well, that's part of what I need to talk with you about, P-Farce, because I have a conception of what that is, but I don't have a full conception of it, and you do. So I need to be let in a little bit more on your secret there for how that works. But we're going to continue this next Tuesday night, starting at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, as we build a world together where we can all loot, die, and repeat.
Nice.
Have a good night, everyone.
No more dying.
Night, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you.